Hi everyone, hi and welcome back to another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee. Thanks so much for listening. I just want to start off by saying please subscribe on whatever format you are listening on. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. If you're on iTunes, similarly, check out all the old episodes as well. We've had tons of people on here now. You know, we're deep into the mid-30s, and as we reach the kind of the enjoyable end of adulthood, I just want to infuse people to go back and check out all the old episodes. Check out, you know, everyone from Crafty to E. Farrell to Most Prob to Flex Digits and Psychosis Holocaust to Nakaya to all these people that have been on. I just want to give a big thank you to everyone that's been on. Again, please subscribe to the channel. Please get in contact with us. battlerapresume@gmail.com is the main way you can get into emailing us. Also at battlerapresume on the Twitter. We have a Redbubble shop as well. It's quite surreal that a few people have been buying shirts. Like I'd love to see someone wearing a Battle Rap Resume shirt in the wild. That would make my year. But thank you so much. Thank you for buying stickers and all that. So it's just to help the show and sort of stuff. So yeah, a lot of people, I mean, it's in a lot of sort of cultural things in general and sport as well. People really like to talk about the Mount Rushmore of things. People like to discuss if there was, I think it's 4 faces on Mount Rushmore, but people kind of, you know, the phrase a little bit more elastic. People like to talk about the defining people of a certain movement or moment. And, you know, it's kind of widely done in maybe genres of hip hop, for example, or even your favorite Wire characters. You know, I've certainly argued that with friends and stuff like that. But I think it's interesting in battle rap, not just to do it by leagues. You can do, you know, Sirius Jones was recently on Angry Fan. That's kind of where I got it from, talking about his Mount Rushmore, and he put himself on there, which was quite out there, but fair enough, maybe we'll put him on there. But I think if you're going to talk about the Mount Rushmore of battle rap, I mean, you know, it's fair to say that you'd be chiseled on there, wouldn't you?
Well, I think it depends how many faces you're allowed it to have.
Let's say 5.
What, you mean globally?
Yeah.
Globally?
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't agree.
Who would be the 5 then?
I mean, Murder Mook's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I mean, I've said this before, man. I think like I kind of won't hear a bad word said against certain battlers, and I understand that, you know, certain newer fans are kind of not really into that old kind of Gumbar style, but I think you have to understand that, like, that is where battle rap came from, you know what I mean? And I think someone like Mook, if anybody doesn't really put him in their top 5 or their top 10, I don't really count their opinion as valid, because I think he kind of transcends what a normal top 5 is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because it's Murder Mook. It's kind of like you will. I honestly think he's the only name I could for sure say would be on mine, because I think I think the easiest way to see it is that if you walk down the street or you go to a club, like a hip hop club or whatever, and you say the name Murder Mook, like, most of the people will know who you're talking about. Maybe not the younger generation now as such, but he's one of those names that if you're not even into battling, you might not even know what URL is, but so many people's, I don't know, the best way to describe it is like a lot of battle rappers, like older brothers and sisters, know who Murder Mook is, but they probably couldn't tell you who's like the Don't Flop champion. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, but I mean, I think to kind of extend the Mount Rushmore metaphor a bit more, it's about the people that made America, right? And like, I think if you're arguing who made battle rap, I would say you had more influence than Mook.
I would. Do you know what, mate? I would love to agree with you, but I would obviously love to go around saying Mook versus me. But what I disagree. Like I think if I would put myself on there, if what we're talking about is people who have done something to push the scene forward. Now, you could maybe say that I have done more to like advance the scene, but I think when people talk about Mount Rushmores of anything, of sport, of rap or anything, I don't think it's really about advancing the scene. It's more just about who has really left their mark. And I think if both of us died tomorrow, I think our obituaries would read, you know, more in the favour that he's a battle rap legend more than I am. Like I think I've done my bit. I really do definitely think I've done my bit. But I think I would personally find it hard to compare myself to him, because he's been around doing this since I don't really know, probably like 03, and was battling on the street. You know, he's battled people like Jay Mills, who's now signed to like Young Money Records. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like me. It's more like I came about in 07, and I've slowly been putting in work since then. But I think the different thing would be to say I would definitely put myself on a UK battle rap Mount Rushmore.
Oh God, yeah. You're the mountain it's carved from, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're the sediment.
No, I mean, yeah, that's a different, you know, that is different. I would say I've definitely upped myself a spot on the UK one because, you know, of the work that I've put in, and I've tried to push the scene forward. But honestly, I think on a global one, do you know, to be honest, I think on a global one, I think they probably would be an American. I think it would probably be, you know, it would be Mook, Loaded Lux, probably. It would probably, I'd really just put all the people from the old Smack era, because that was the era that everybody came up on battling. And if they didn't exist, there would be nobody. Do you know what I mean? And then from the modern era, you have to put Saurus and Illmac on there, because they are to the modern era of. I'm glad that it gets called the geeky side of battling less and less now, because that's how it used to always be. It used to be Smack. Smack was the hard shit, and grind time or jump off was the geek shit. But sometimes that easy way to describe it. You know, as far as the Smack guys, the gun guys, Mook and Lux are there, and as far as the geek guys is Saurus and Illmac, because they did create a style that is now globally popular. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and it's funny because that I remember when that was a new thing, and it was a diss. There was a period where it was quite a common diss to be like, oh, you're just like the Saurus, you're just like Illmac. But it's kind of like, it's just become how you battle now. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you don't even really get dissed for it anymore, because it's just, if you're not spitting gun bars, you know, apart from your random people like your Carter Deems, your Ogmios, whatever, most people, including myself, I rap in a style that is influenced by the Saurus and Illmac. Like, I can't say I'm influenced by Murder Mook more than the fact that he was the first battle rapper I ever watched. So he influenced me because I enjoyed battle rap from him. But he hasn't influenced my style. Do you know what I mean? You won't ever hear a bar and say, sounds like Murder Mook in that bar. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you may hear me say a bar or a kind of a scheme that's been set up in a way that you would be like, oh, that's influenced by Saurus and Illmac. So I definitely throw them on mine.
It's interesting that the disjunction you make, because I was just watching, before we get into the first battle against Reverse Live, there's an interview with Reverse Live, and he titles himself as a freestyle hippie, and it's kind of like he's saying, I'm old school because I freestyle, which even then, I mean, when was that? Like 2009? So that was still when it was happening, but I mean, that was... It seems to me, and kind of history makes you feel this way when you look back at certain events and the timing's perfect, but it does seem like, from what I'm gathering here, I remember Arkaic was on the show, and it seems like everything's colliding at the right time for you. So you meeting Arkaic, it was your older brother studied with Arkaic, and that's how you met?
Yeah. My older bro, he went to sixth form with him. Right. And we met at a Skinny Man gig. I don't know if Ark told you the same thing, but
he didn't say Skinny Man gig, but that's
sorry.
That's
no,
cool,
what? I'm like, do you know what? I'm lying. Actually, no, it was a Mark B and Blade show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a Blade show.
Skinny Man who battled Press One.
No, he I think we've been to a Skinny Man show, but no, it was a Blade show. And actually, funny side point, it was actually the first night I met Truth as well, because actually they were some of the first hip hop people that I met in the scene, of the UK scene, because I was about 15. They actually may have been the first people I met in the scene. I met them both on the same night, and from then on I started rapping with Ark, and at the same time Truth. Back in the day, Truth used to run a night called Ip Spit, like IP-Spit. Right. And because he was in Ipswich at the time, and it was like an open mic. And it's so funny looking back on it, because like at the time, being 15 and, you know, hearing about it, it's just so funny because it was such a big deal. And I remember getting my mum to drive me up there. Like, I got my mum to drive me from Norwich to Ipswich, because I was like, yo, I met this guy Truth, and I'm gonna go to this cypher. And the funniest thing about it, because most people are underage, like, it wasn't even a club night, it was like a room in a rehearsal studio, and it was just like, it's just so funny. Like, I was the only guy from Norwich in there. Like, Norwich and Ipswich got beef, do you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think maybe you can't call it beef, it's pretty pathetic. Right. You got, you know, some kind of rivalry, and I was the only guy from Norwich there, and it was literally just, I'd imagined it to be this kind of like cipher of the millennium kind of thing, and it was just like a little room with an amp and one mic everybody was buzzing about. But that's how I used to do it, man. Literally used to go link Ark and Norwich, go link Truth and Ipswich. That's how it all started.
Mm-hmm. And then was Ark kind of your pathway to battle rap, or were you aware? I mean, a lot of people was that was through Ark.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. I mean, I wouldn't ever have it. Would never have it any other way. I would never have it, displayed any other way. That is the truth of the matter. Definitely, yeah. He did it 2006, and then decided not to do it with Kool-Aid again. And from very early on in 2007.
2007, yeah.
Yeah, very. I'm talking literally January or February times in 2007. He was like, I remember, like, he's got quite a like fucking pushy manner about him. And I remember he was like, you're doing it with me this year, innit? And like, I was like, bro, like. I remember I'm 16, 17 at the time. I was just like, nah, I can't do that, man. Like, I'm comparing myself to Source and Illmaculate when I've been watching these videos of them two versus, Hom and Piff James and shit. I was like, I can't do it anywhere near that, bro. And he was like, nah, you're doing it, innit? And it kind of got to July, and we've been rapping probably nearly every Friday or Saturday, probably been rapping fairly regularly. And it got to like the entry period, and he was like, I told you were doing this. And I was just like, shit, do you know what? I was like, I might just about have the confidence to do this. And then I still, trust me, like I still was like shitting it. Like, I think I'm way too, in too deep kind of thing.
Yeah.
By the time you fucking signed your name on the form, it's too late to back out. So
yeah. I mean, King George and G Dash, right? They're waiting for you. But it's weird in the same sense that where you get these actors or actresses, say like, I don't know, Johnny Depp or Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where they've always been on camera, and you can sort of see them as like 9 years old and see them as 35 years old. And it is crazy. You kind of grew up on camera, didn't you? Like you were so young when these videos were, these early WRCs.
Yeah, man. I think when I get without fail, every single time I show my ID at a club, the bouncers make some hilarious comment about it, because obviously, my ID is like nearly 10 years old. Right. So it's like, so obviously now I walk around with a beard and this long hair and whatever, and I got stress shows on my face from just years of stress in this scene, and like it's just so funny when you watch these WRC battles, and I've just got like short hair, shaven face. Like, that was back in the time when it weren't cool to have any kind of beard, so it's like I'm there with I remember waking up in the morning of the WRC, like, oh, I better shave. Yeah,
well, it's like you're so physically indistinct, but if you were to battle now, because the WRCs were so much about you look like this and this and this, and like if you look like, because it's like when you battle 24/7 in King of the Dart, it made me smile because obviously you look unrecognizable from what you look like in the WRCs. He looks exactly the same.
He looks exactly the same.
Down to the 8 Mile Scully.
Air in Florida, bro. I'm telling you, like that fucking country air, man. They're just loving it. Like, he's just fully chilling with the breeze on his face every day and not aging. Like, I'm here in London aging like 10 years a month. Like, it's so stupid.
So, I mean, I should say quickly that if you want kind of in-depth WRC, us digging in, check out the Arkaic and Bagland episode, Battle Rap Resume 25. Went deep into these battles. I still want to go in with his review, and I should say as well that obviously is I don't need to say, co-founder of Don't Flop, and kind of we've maybe said that we might do an episode in the future where we talk more about Don't Flop explicitly. But for this first episode, I do want to talk about the battles because the battles are fucking great. They are really, really good. And quickly with the WRCs, like going to New York and finding out you've got Zealy and Phranchyze, a lot of the things you make about in your first round are kind of like, we got the Houston division. Like, was this something you were really closely following? Because I mean, in today's day and age where everyone has a smartphone, everyone's hashtagging, everyone's tweeting, it's very easy to get information. Even if it's false, it's very easy to get it. But back then in 2007, it's almost like the prehistoric age, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's mad. Like, I mean, it's just battling in general has changed, and that's a huge part of it. It's just that something happens and it gets tweeted and retweeted many times. And I actually think about this a lot, that I think, like, I have just in particularly with battle rap and to do with life in general, I do have a lot of these thoughts, like probably every day, where I think that, like, you take something like Twitter and Instagram, and you forget that until it might sound obvious, but until the day they were released, the day before they were released, if you'd have gone up to someone and said, oh, tweet me that picture, they would have been like, what the fuck do you mean tweet? You know what I'm saying? And I find it so funny that from one day something launches and it changes the world forever. Yeah. So I find it very weird that if I try and like time travel back and to myself in the WRCs and we're like, oh, blah, 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 is, you've been tagged on Instagram in a picture that you're going to get dissed for, I'd have been like, what the fuck are you doing? Instagram? Like, what is this? What is this kind of, that's like a food or something? Do you know what I mean? It would have just been like, and it's so true, back then there was none of that, man. There was no, to be honest, bro, the crazy thing is, like, back then it was like, we were still on MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
Like
MySpace, right?
Yeah, people, because it feels so long ago, people seem to remember, oh, MSN Messenger was 20 years ago. Bro, it really wasn't. It's like back in them days, I remember in the lead up to the WRCs, me and G-Dash trolling each other on MSN Messenger. Right. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, MySpace, I don't think there was anything else we used. Obviously, YouTube was kind of really popping off by then. But I mean, I think honestly that was it. It was MSN Messenger and MySpace, and there was nothing more to it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You weren't digging for dirt. Do you know what I mean? No one was digging for dirt on MySpace. Like, you were just bitching about, the only diss you had is, oh, why the fuck did you put me in your top 8 or something? Do you know what I mean?
Like, top 8? Yeah, that's right.
Top 8, bro. Like, I still remember. I remember falling out with someone that me and Kruger used to know, and as soon as we fell out, I moved him out of my top 8. I was like, suck a dick, bro. You ain't my top 8 anymore.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, then I felt guilty and made it a top 12 so I could keep him in it.
I remember, I don't know if you remember the early URL videos, like Holododon Big T, when they had the text on the video, and they had like twitter.com/URL TV, and that was my first Twitter. I had not heard of Twitter until that point.
It is just crazy to think how much the world has changed. I think it is on its social media, the internet stuff has changed more in the last probably 5 to 7 years maybe than it has in my whole life. Like I was actually explaining to somebody the other day, I was like, when I was like 12, you had to ask your mom if she was expecting a phone call so you could go on the internet because broadband didn't exist. And I was explaining this to somebody who's only a few years younger than me, and they had no idea this was ever a thing. And I was just like, I had to genuinely say, can I go on the internet? Imagine if it was like that with battles. You'd have loads of 15-year-old battleheads being like, fuck your phone call, mum. Like Loaded Lux vs. Holododon just dropped. Like, I don't care about you getting a call from the hospital or whatever. Like, they'd be like, no, it's mental. And then broadband comes out, and then it's like, that changes the world forever. And now imagine if we were running a battle league now, trying to upload videos on like a dial-up modem. Do you know what I mean? Like, having to ask my housemates, are you expecting any phone calls? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
It is crazy, and it seems to have kind of coincided in a certain way with like Obama almost, like the past 8 years. You know what I mean? Kind of that, maybe 2010 more, but you know what I'm saying? That kind of era seems to have exploded. Like,
it's just so funny that now you've got, I think a great use of Twitter is something like battlerapresume. I think I've supported them fully since they launched. I've been fully supportive of them because I think it's great, and I think it's what something like Twitter should be used for. You should be, I'll be honest, I'm still I think people forget this about me. Like, I'm still a complete battle geek at heart. Like, I have a lot of issues with the scene, but really, like, when there's an event on that I care about, and I'm in a different country, I'm refreshing that feed like a motherfucker.
Those Born Legacy free updates. Jesus.
Bro, I get gassed. I'm saying, because when I almost feel like when I'm not involved in an event, I can enjoy it like a fan again. And like I do, I would say that it's not as exciting as it used to be, but still, it always happens. I seem to go out, get drunk, and when I come back in, I'm just about to fall asleep, and I'm like, oh shit, there's an event going on in America. So I start refreshing the feed, and I'm like, and I get gassed off the idea that it's actually happening right now. Like, I really like that image. It's like somewhere else in the world right now, this battle is actually going down, and it's like I'm watching this, and it's good. And before, how would we have done that before? Back in the old days, there was no one live tweeting the WRCs. Like, fucking 3 people with clipboards, and that was it.
Yeah. There were people stealing tapes, but there were no
people stealing tapes, people with clipboards.
Yeah.
Probably about a few more people with clipboards I forgot about. Basically, a lot of clipboards, a lot of tapes getting stolen. That was what the WRCs were. That's my memory of it, to be honest.
So, you come to New York, and one of the things that I've really liked doing with this show is, when you look at people's early battles, you find out about battlers you might not have known about. And, I've got to say, Zealy and Phranchyze in particular, they were pretty good. They they did their stuff. I thought they gave you a good set of, but obviously the tapes were stolen, blah, 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 all this kind of bullshit. But I mean, in the same way that I often think when I watch British films, say when you watch like a Mike Leigh or a Ray Winstone film, and it feels quite brash and brittle at its core compared to the Western stuff you watch. I try and get in the mind state of the WRC crowd watching you, because you are very, very forthright, aren't you? Very angry in a very honest way. But it seems like you have the best content. I just felt like we have. Back then, it was about proving something, man. It was about. Now it doesn't matter, like, bro. You gotta understand, like. I rolled to an event now, say my 24/7 battle or my my DNA battle. It doesn't matter about being British, because it's like I've put in the work and I know every single person there has seen my battles and they know what I'm about, and a lot of them have probably come to see it. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is, I honestly think a lot of say for Blackout, when I got announced, it got one of the best feedbacks, because it was so unexpected. I think a lot of people I spoke to there on a day really had come, not just to see me, but I was definitely a part of that. So there was no part of me I didn't walk on stage thinking, oh, maybe they won't understand my accent, because I know they've seen my battle, so of course they understand my accent. But I think that the anger and the intensity back in the day, that's where it came from. It's just this, like, I know you're not taking me seriously. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it was I've put in this work. I've wanted to be freestyling every fucking weekend for the last 9 months or whatever. Like I've probably been listening to hip hop just as long as all of you lot. We're all the same age. We just come from different countries. Do you know what I'm saying? But I could tell everybody in that room. Especially at the judges, I was getting weird vibes of them, and I kind of thought they just don't take us seriously as people at all. Like, they just kind of feel like Jump Off, as a British company, had to include some kind of English team. That's how it felt to me, really. And I think with that team as well, I knew they were just going to kind of hit us on this kind of like, you're British, you're this, you're that. And I think it sounds silly, but I was just pissed off before the battles even happened. Do you know what I mean? And I'll tell you a funny thing, actually. I remember before a battle Reverse Live, I didn't know how well I was going to go down. I think I went down so well in that battle. Amazing, yeah. But bro, before that battle, I remember we were at Hip Hop Kent Festival and I was drunk as fuck, and I was like, I remember just ranting, being like, I know exactly what it's going to be like. I was like, I love Grind Time. I can't wait to battle on it, but they ain't going to listen to me. They ain't going to listen to you. And I just went on this big ass rant, boy. And I remember everyone we were with were just like, you're such a fucking buzzkill, bro. And I was like, nah, you don't need to understand. I don't even know why we're going out there. They ain't even going to listen. Because that's what I'm saying. That was like 2 years after WRCs, and I still felt like we just weren't going to get taken seriously. But if you compare how we were received in Battle of the Bay 5, that was with open arms. The crowd were waiting on every bar. Do you know what I'm saying? So I went in there, just say WRCs, I went in with 2007 and 2009, I went in with really low expectations, so I could only come out feeling good about it. So yeah, as we say, the WRCs, go back to the Ark episode, and I've also got a thing on the YouTube channel as well, which is called Ark and the WRCs 707's kind of like a compilation for you. But yeah, fantastic battles. Yeah, I kind of collate all the interviews and shit like that, and I don't know if you remember actually, but Phranchyze and Zealy, in their sort of post interview, when they win the second battle and you win the third battle, and they talk about like eating pizza and they do like a mini freestyle. It's probably, most people haven't seen that, but that's on there.
I definitely haven't seen that.
No, check that out. But yeah, we push forward. So don't flops around as we get into our first battle here with Reverse Live. Jump offs happened. Like, you must have a certain profile to get invited to Battle of the Bay, or is it literally because you and Kruger are the only British people they know?
I think it was a mix. I think they liked the idea of having, you know, of having a mix of people there. And I think, yeah, you got to remember, it was run by Lush One, and Lush One was in the WRCs. And actually, funnily enough, the reason that the whole thing came about to go to Battle of the Bay was because Lush was always saying back in the WRC days that he rated me, and a lot of people in the WRCs weren't too sure until the finals. I did a lot better in the finals, but in the regular season, a lot of people didn't really know how they felt about me. And Lush was really supportive of me on the old jump off forum. So that's what got us talking. And obviously, we'd been watching Grind Time all year, growing. Got to Battle of the Bay 5, and I don't know who reached out to who. Someone reached out to someone, and and then I think we were kind of the only people he knew. I think he knew me, Kruger, he knew Arkaic,
of course,
and I think Possessed. He said, "How do you feel about getting Possessed over?" And I was like, "Well, the idea is amazing, but it's never going to happen." I think he didn't. It wasn't really about bringing the rest of your league out. It was more just like, do you and Kruger want to come do a battle out here? And then DK was active at the time as well, so I was just like, can I bring DK as well? Well, he watched one of his battles and was just like, he's good enough. Definitely gave him Fredo or whatever, and us three just went. But again, all that aside, I still felt like, we're going to get slept on, we're going to get disrespected, it's going to be like a big joke to them. And then obviously I dropped like my first maybe 4 bars and was like, wow, they're showing fucking love, boy. Like, they're showing love out here, man. Like, amazing feeling, absolutely amazing.
Is that like a West Coast, East Coast thing, or?
I'm not at all qualified to say. I mean, I've done one battle in New York, and it wasn't that well received. I did one battle in the West, and it was better received. I don't think that really says anything about either.
No. But Battle of the Bay 5, we should say as well. Classic event, right? So good to be part of this.
Amazing.
Incredible amount of battles there. Obviously, Saurus Illmaculate went down there, and Kruger Illusion Z. Kruger was on the show, and we mentioned that one as well. That's a great battle. But this battle, this reverse live battle, we'll get into it. It really takes you back because one of the things that I love about these Grind Time Now videos is they open with that throwback, boom back, Mad Lib, loop pack kind of Tony Hawk's hip hop, don't they? They really kind of put you into certain, you know exactly what I mean, right? Yeah, and
do you know what the craziest thing? The tune that they picked for my battle is actually one of my favorite tunes, because I think that was off they did that compilation called Non-Perishables.
They did.
And and it was the Intuition. What's it called? It's Intuition and somebody else, and it's one of the best tunes off the compilation. And when they used it on my battle, like I'd never really properly listened to it before, and then it's such a sick tune. And then I remember reaching out to Intuition, just being like, by the way, like I still bump this tune like every day, and he was like so like gassed to be told that by someone from Britain. Do you know what I mean? But
it's Intuition and Verbs.
That's man.
Hypnotize, as in 3 different words.
That's it, man. Hypnotize. Yeah, that is a tune. I was so happy they used it on my battle, and I think that was a great period, man. I think that has been lost. I think the last time we did it was end of 2011, maybe 2012. Because what's so funny is that like Mark Griston Blizzard is a hugely viewed viral video, but it has a huge intro. Like if you watch, it's so funny that like it's very lucky that video even went viral, because it's got like 2 minutes of a truth track in the start. It's got then clothing advert, because obviously we just thought it was going to be like a 50k viewed battle, so we were just like, we'll do this normally. If I'd have known that was going to be viral, we would have changed the intro so much to that. But it's just it's just that was what you did at the time. In Battle of the Bay, it was all about everybody's got songs out. If you want a song played in your intro, you do it. If they had a non-perishable song that got put on their front, like I know what you mean. It's quite cool looking back, because it's like looking back at a different era of battling, because you wouldn't probably do that now, but it's funny because it is something I've thought about. Like it's something that no one seems to do anymore. So it could be kind of cool as like a throwback thing to start putting tracks on Don't Flop battles again. You know what I mean? Like new Don't Flop battles, start putting new tracks on and shit like that.
Yeah, that would be great, because I remember I think Avocado came over to film your 7th birthday, and I was following his Snapchat, and there was one of his stories where it was just his bored face as grime played on and on. And on.
I know.
And it's kind of, he is that West Coast guy, isn't he? And I guess he is is grind time, so it's kind of through him you can see that. But so you're facing Reverse Live.
But he's been training for this battle. Every morning he goes for runs, but ends up eating the slabs of meat that he's supposed to punch.
I want to say to any listeners who know the American comedian Bert Kreischer, who's been on a lot of Joe Rogan stuff, they're identical. They're literally identical, both in humour, the kind of big fat guy who's jolly, the West Coaster stoner, and just in the way they look. It's crazy. This is his 17th battle uploaded at this time. So was he more of a name than you, or is it just because it was Scribble Jam, so there's more uploads?
What, as in I was Reverse Live's 17th battle?
Yes, you were, yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, no, I would say, I don't know. I think back in those days, it's still related back to who'd done Jump Off and who hadn't. I think it's not really relevant anymore. But I would say I was a bigger name when we battled, because he'd come in fairly early at grind time, which is cool. And he'd done his thing and he was getting views, but I think I was more known. But I still felt like the outsider because we were battling in Cali, and obviously he had his friends and he had the scene and whatever. But yeah, but do you know what though? I wouldn't say I did more for him than he did for me. I think it was very even. I would say at the time it was my first ever, battle in this new format. People probably just thought I was still this like silly little kid from the WRCs or whatever, and he was still building a name, so I was probably, I don't know, like one of the biggest people in battle, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know, but yeah, he had a lot to say to me and shit, and I think we helped each other out with that battle. You know what I mean? Like, fairly even.
Yeah. He always, Reverse Live always existed more of as a name to me. I was kind of aware of him. And then I think he does a lot of second anchor on the Dirtbag Dan show, which is kind of where I got him from. But his career is a bit more interesting, actually, in the sense that after you, he struggled to find any sort of consistency. He battled a lot. He battled a lot on Ground Zeroes, but it seems only now he's getting into the King of the Dot. But this is...
It's so funny how like so many years later, he's kind of really about it now.
Literally 4 years later, and he's been battling a lot as well. It's kind of weird how the scene favours.
Definitely, man. He I think he was okay against me. I think it was fairly like predictable what he said, but you have to also remember that it was easier to get reactions back then. Like, the only time you might be able to do them kind of stereotypical British shit, I think now, is if it was on Smack, because I think the Smack crowd, they don't really give a fuck about who did WRCs and who runs them. I could realistically, I could probably do a battle on Smack and they could do 3 rounds about like, crumpets and tea and shit and get a lot of laughs, because I think it's just that crowd doesn't really care for our scene, if you know what I mean. But as far as this, I said the more geeky side of battling, as they call it, I think you couldn't do that anymore. Like say, unless you do it in a very satirical way. Like say, I don't know, if you're battling maybe someone like, I don't know, Dirtbag Dan or someone in California and you were English, I could see him doing some like really stupid English jokes, but it wouldn't be in the same way Reverse Live did to me, if you know what I mean. Like I think in the period of me and Reverse Live, it was like I knew that's kind of the shit he was going to say, because it's like, well, it's what everyone wants you to say. And I've always been a big advocate in battle rap of like, just say what they want you to say. Do you know what I mean? Don't try to be clever. Just say what they want you to say. Of course, there's only 3 British people on the card. There's about 20 Americans. Everyone who's British is going to get it. The same way Illusion Z was killing Kruger about being British. You sound like this. You know what I mean? It's cool, and I liked it, and he said some alright shit, but I wasn't really that amazed with what he said, and I do honestly feel like my bars were a lot better than his. And I knew I'd won. Do you know what I mean? Halfway through the battle, I was like, I've won this battle.
No. I mean, it's clear. It's clear, yeah. And that's kind of what I want to get across as well, because I don't want to come across like I'm having any bias because I'm like English and like don't flop, but you kind of demolished the guy really, and it's very much like your style. It's still whereas I think kind of his style. I watched him versus E Farrell, which is a very recent battle, and he's definitely kind of upped his game, definitely aged a bit more. So you start off, you were saying like your early bars got a huge reaction. And you have like a really good bar. You have like a very grind timey sort of bar that gets a huge reaction. I asked for someone big, you misunderstood. It's so simple, right? But it explodes.
It's what I've always said about battling. It's like don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to. Like, look, if you're Chiller Jones and you can come up with a million different ways to say the word Nottingham or something, cool, bro. Like do your thing, innit? Do you know what I mean? But that's not me. Like, I'm about just say what you need to say. Like, bang, I asked for someone big, you misunderstood. There you go, it's done. Do you know what I mean? You got the reaction. Everybody in the room gets the bar. It's a cheeky bar. Everybody's like, wow, this kid's fully taking the piss. That's all you need, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's all my bars were like that. You know, I can't even remember too many others I said, but I said something about this kid's so fat. He chose the ice cream van music as his intro.
That is huge.
It's just easy to get. Just straight down the middle. You're fat. Everyone can relate to the ice cream man. Bang, bang, bang. There you go. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your whole verse is you're fat. It looks like comic book guy.
What was it? It looks like
the O from the Hollywood sign.
Are you comic book guy or almost? I said something like, you look like the comic book guy. I feel like I'm stood by an O from the Hollywood sign.
That was dope. I loved training for this battle. Every morning he goes for runs, but ends up eating the slabs of meat that he's supposed to punch.
See, I feel like that got slept on.
I think funny.
Do you know what? Yeah, I feel like that got slept on because that was a very specific kind of humor.
Right.
British kind of a British kind of dry joke. Do you know? It wasn't. Sure. Whereas you see what we're talking about. I'm trying to say, you know, we should. You should always just say, you know, something that will get a reaction. Now, I knew right in that isn't a straightforward fact joke. That's it relies on you understanding what the reference is and this and that. But you know what? To be honest, I had so many straightforward fact jokes. I kind of threw that in because I thought this is funny to me. And I knew, you see, people like you said you found it funny. And I knew it would be one of those bars that over the years people have been like, oh, do you know what bar I thought was funny? The bar about eating the slabs of meat. And I was like, cool. Do you know what I mean? That's all I need. I don't need a huge reaction every single bar. Certain bars, maybe I will leave it for the internet, as they say. Do you know what I mean?
No, it works. It's a really good visual as well. And his first, as you say, I mean, he's very, and this is me, you know, I watch a lot of battles, very dated. He's got kind of, I don't know how to say it, he's got quite a shiny delivery. He's got just a big kind of delivery. You know, you want to be American. He kind of keeps clowning on listen, bruv. He clowns on don't flop. But whenever I watch a battle with these pricks, it's exactly what you did. I mean, he gets the first shot at don't flop as an international opponent.
That's what I was going to say. And I respect that bar. Because someone had to say it. Somebody had to say your league's called don't flop, and that's what you do. You have to say it. It's almost like if he didn't say it, it's just a matter of time till somebody does. You know, and it's like it is a very, very, very obvious but it's my first ever written battle in the new format of battling, and I'm trying to push this league. I'm only really going out there to try and promote Don't Flop. It's very early days of Don't Flop. I think we maybe had one big event, which was the O'Shea versus ZT event. I was really trying to promote what we were doing, you know. So I think that's a fair enough bar. And I think the you want to be American, that shit I never quite understood. I think the concept of the bar, I think, was more like when he's saying about you lot wear hammer pads. I think he was kind of saying that you lot are 20 years behind. But to be honest, I don't think that really applies to English hip hop fans, man. I don't think people in England are, you know, listening to hip hop that's 10 years old. I don't think they dress. I think, to be honest, it's kind of the same. People, you can't really tell apart an English and American hip hop fans. You know what I mean? So I remember that angle. I was a bit like, I don't really know about that. But most of the other bars, like I said, I didn't rate a lot of them, like the Harry Potter shit. I was like, it's whatever. But at the same time, I don't rate it. I get why you say it, because if I was reverse live, I said the same shit. So
but you come with, especially in your second as well, it's more of a precise attack. Lush told you to flip some stuff, and then you go on, and when he said listen bruv, it looked like one of his nipples sucked, and it does. It's kind of, when you watch it back, it kind of hits really hard on a second viewing. Oh man,
what a strange.
You can tell the American pause, they're a bit they're not willing to rock with it like we are to eat meat and stuff like that in the lockers. But and then you say I went mad in New York because I had real passion for battles and not just some part-time faggot who does it when band practice is cancelled.
Right, it's not bad. I
like that stuff. I like it.
Could have been better, but not. Again, do you know what? It's not a huge punchline, but it's straight to the point.
No, I liked it. I did like that one a lot. I think it kind of hit true, as it were. Skinny jeans, not exactly drain pipes, more like a whole sewage system.
I'll tell you what. See, that one that's the same thing. It's like that's one of those bars that is more like, to me, I find this funny, but I knew I was like, not necessarily is this it's not actually that clever, because it doesn't really make any sense. Realistically, it makes no sense at all. No. It's kind of like, you get the concept. It's reasonably funny. Like,
and he Bad Boy would sign him quickly. This is one that definitely hit easier.
See, I like this one a lot.
Size of Biggie, rhymes of Diddy. It's there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, again, it's just straight away relatable. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just straight away, you don't need to think on it at all. It's just kind of like, I was saying Bad Boy just signing quickly. You obviously know when I say Bad Boy, I'm going to mention either Diddy or Biggie. I'm not going to do some bar about Mace or something like that. Like, if I'm running, if you're in a battle and you're talking about, exactly, like, if you're in a battle and you're doing a punchline on Bad Boy, it better fucking be about, you know, Biggie or Diddy or someone like that. Like, and I think it was. Do you know what I tell you about that bar? What I remember was, any battler will tell you, like, that kind of feeling you get when you write a bar and you're kind of like, has this been said before? Because that was one of them. I was thinking, like, to me, obviously, calling him a fat person, Biggie, is so obvious and it was bait, but I think the way I tried to extend it and be like, you're the size of Biggie, but you know, shit as Diddy at rapping kind of thing, I think I was just thinking, have I made it original, or is this still really bait? But then I remember when I spat it, I remember thinking, yeah, I still don't know if this is going to go off, and I might have to go straight into the next bar, as you do, to kind of like, what do you call it, like just run over your mistake, you know what I mean? And it went off so much, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, I should stop second guessing myself and just go for it.
Well, you were saying about has this been said before? Well, I mean, it's a battle we're sort of going to get into much later. But the John, when you call John the Don the Kanye West bear, I was like, how has this not been said before? Like, that's a great one.
Look, I tell you what, the reaction to that. It's my favourite reaction in the battle, because it's one of those creeper ones where everybody slowly.
You can see him on the graduation cover, like being ejected.
It's hilarious. Like, I'm sorry, it's a funny bar. You look like the Kanye West bear with less hair. Like, come on, like, and I you can see he tries so hard not to laugh when I say it, and I look at him and I'm like, come on, bro, you know that is funny. Like, it's not, you know, bringing up your personal life, your fucking tax history or whatever. It's just saying, look, you do look like the Kanye, not even a bear. Like, you look like the fucking Kanye West bear outfit. Just to wrap up some of the lines that I like from the Reverse Live. This again was one that was kind of slept on, but quite nice. Fat prick should call his band Whiff, but you're not on my frequency. Do you know what? That's probably one of the ones I'm most proud of.
Love that one. Really like that one.
I think that's one of the ones I'm most proud of. I think what I remember about that bar is I remember the Saurus saying to me afterwards that was one of his favourite bars.
Oh shit!
Yeah. And I remember obviously back, you know, in them, like, you know, those times meant a lot. Do you know what I mean? I remember him saying, that bandwidth bar was crazy. But again, do you know what? Exactly the same thing as the Diddy one. I honestly was like, bandwidth. Has anyone ever said, like, your width because you're fat and band? And I just thought, I thought maybe like waistband and band. I remember being like, I think if this hasn't been said, this is a great diss. Like, and then it's exactly the same thing. I remember as I was spitting it, thinking, I really hope this goes off, and then it went off.
Yeah, it went huge, and again, you go with the description. I mean, you go on his weight a hell of a lot, especially in the third. He's from a farm town full of dry land. One nail left as a sign
has population written on by. That's one of my favourites. Oh shit, we're taking it back now.
Love that shit, man. You can, people are going crazy, and then the whole, basically, he's constant losing, because obviously he has battled a lot, as we said, and he's been down quite a bit. Losing the fifth, like the police force you to testify. Lush goes crazy at that. Lush loves that.
My god, Lush, he's like shooting like a fucking firework at the sky. He's like, oh my god.
It's like he just you couldn't talk to him at that moment. Yeah.
Yo, he's losing because I when I clocked that bar, like, I'm not gonna, like, I knew that was gonna go off. I was like, because it's such an American reference. Like,
yeah.
Do you know the craziest thing is, like, I thought that the fifth is the silent one, but I remember googling it as like it's funny. Like I think this often as well. The amount of crazy loved battle bars that the rapper would have sat there and googled to double check it was what they thought it was. If you could see a list of them, it's like, and I remember with that bar, I was like, need to double check what the fifth is just to make sure it's what I think it is. And then when I clocked it, because I was like, lose 4, losing the fifth, and I was like, because I think how I clocked the bar was actually just going through his record. I think I was just like, right, I think he does keep losing. All right, so I've got to diss him on losing. And I think I was like, okay, so he's lost. Has he lost? How many? I think it was just literally thinking, how many battles has he lost, and how can I put that into a punchline? And then I clocked 4th, 5th, and I was just like, what is 5th? That rings a bell. And oh shit, the 5th. And I did my little research on Google or whatever. And then was like, how can I put this in the bar? Like, because I thought, like, cause, do you know the funny thing is, I don't know if that's a thing. Like, and I remember thinking this when I wrote the bar. Like, I don't know if that's the thing. Can the police in America force you to testify if you plead the fifth? That's the thing. Like, I don't actually know if that ever happens, but I knew everybody would get the bar. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the fifth. It's something that you hear in movies and music so much that I was like, even if, you know, I don't know if you could say I plead the fifth and fucking Johnny Policeman can then go, actually, mate, you're going to testify. Like, I have no idea if that's good, but I thought this is a sick fucking bar. I don't even care.
Yeah, it's great.
Luscious reaction is just ridiculous.
Probably from experience, he probably relates, like, you know.
Yeah. Lush pretty got out of jail that morning. He was just like, oh my God, he's speaking for the people, man. Like, fuck no.
There is, I mean, I've been recently, for some reason, just because Clips and Hitman are in it, watching old Wild and Out episodes, and they have a game called Plead the Fifth in the actual thing. So I think it is, I think it is part of that. So I mean, you know, easy massive win here. The judges, obviously I recognise Madness. 2 people that I didn't recognise that maybe you remember, I don't know if you do. Intuition, who was Intuition? I don't really know that guy.
Well, yeah, Intuition he's the guy that did the track. Did the intro.
Yeah. So he was kind of an artist, just kind of, did he battle?
Yeah, Intuition. Nah, he never battled. He was just one of those West Coast people that just was down with you know, kind of the same way that, you know, let's say how Genesis Elijah will be. Sure. It's that kind of thing. He was just like right. He knew a lot of the battle rappers. He was there. I actually have no idea who else chose them. But hold on, didn't someone vote for OT? I thought it was 4 votes for me.
Yeah. There were 4 votes for you. Another vote for you was by PEACE, Peace. Got to get that acronym in there as well. And I've never seen this before, where someone clearly wins, but they just like, oh, let's just do OT anyway because the fans want it. That was quite unusual.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it because I got out some bars that got great reactions, but I'm just glad that I knew.
Oh man, the bar about look how I turn this W into how many he's lost in a row, that was huge.
Yo, do you know what though? Did I don't know if Kruger told you this on his one, but Kruger's OT round for Illusion Z had some bangers in it, and he never spat it. And it was such a shame because it had some seriously funny punchlines in, but it was all the ones that he didn't think was going to go off. And then I remember him spitting it to a few people outside. They were all like, "You should have used them in the real bars." You know what I mean? But yeah, like I remember that. I'm so glad that we so glad that we both chose to fucking, you know, do the OT. I would have understood if he didn't want to do it, man. Do you know what I mean? I would have definitely understood that.
Yeah.
You know, you just lost about some fucking random British kid. Like, you don't want to give him any more shot. But so pleased that we did it. So I managed to get the turn in the W bar. The sort of minute long rounds, so you can get your breath during my rounds, kind of shit is really good as well. And one of the great things about a lot of this early grind time and a lot of the King of the Dot stuff as well, interviews, so we can see exactly what you fought. And Intuition, who I mentioned, did all the interviews. Reverse Live is bummed, man. he's not happy, and you know, he's kind of cool. He's sort of complaining that a few of his bars went over the head, like when he talked about Vinny Paz, and I was like, that wasn't that in depth, but you know, whatever. It's just not a very good bar.
No, it wasn't.
I just don't think it applies to me. I think it's funny. Like, yo, I've actually got, I can't remember which bar it is, but one of his bars, he did say to me, I think it was, I just came to rap with my friends. I like that concept. I don't think it really applies to me, but I do think it's a really funny concept. Because at least it's not about me being British. It's just about me as a person. The way he's kind of like, you know, like basically I'd be like, you know, banging a slag in the back room, and you'd be here like, I don't want to talk to girls, I just want to rap. But I think that's a really funny concept. You know what I mean? But yeah, some of his other bars didn't go off, and maybe just weren't that good bars. As simple as that, really. Just weren't very good bars.
No, they weren't. And you know, you say in the interview that you had kind of lost your faith in the US, but now you were sort of, you know, you were feeling a bit more positive. Intuition reminds you that they've got a black president now, which kind of, and you're like, oh yeah. You kind of like, what does that mean? But you know, he said it anyway, and he brings it up, and yeah, I mean, obviously the WRC's battles that came out at this point, so kind of those in the know knew that you were kind of at a high level, but it must have been something else to have a grind time battle come out on YouTube. That must have been crazy.
Do you know what the maddest thing, bro? I even remember where I was when it came out. I was in the library. Yeah, I was in the library when it came out, because they told me the release and everything, and then and then I remember I was sitting in the library like waiting, because I had no internet in my yard. I was like, and then got like the day just like refreshing it, and then as soon as it came up, like, you know, the weirdest thing is, like, I can even remember the amount of views it got in the first day. I got 7,000 views in the first day. And and you obviously, you know, back in those days, like, yo, that's a big deal, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, for fucking, you know, Don't Flop was getting 1,000 views in 3 days, 4 days, you know, which again was cool for back then. But I remember I got 7,000 views in the first day, and I was like, if that's 24 hours, that's basically 7,000 people probably that have watched it. Maybe, you know, 6,000 or something. But so and I remember, you know, I was just so gassed, and like, you know, another memory I got was there was a dude called Ralph Ripshit. Like, I don't even know what he's doing nowadays, but he's a Welsh MC. Right. Yeah, Ralph Ripshit, man. He's like 7 foot tall. He's like fucking 7 foot tall Welsh geezer. Yeah. And I remember we've been talking about doing a track, and I was sitting there in the library, and then as I was seeing it, oh my god, 7,000 views, whatever. I remember I got a text of Ralph being like, "Yo, I did not know you could battle like that." And I got a text of him. Like, I hadn't spoken to him in a while. We were talking about doing this track, and then I got a text of him. It's like, "Yo, man, like, I had no idea you could rap like that. Blah 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 blah. That's fucking crazy. Blah." You know what I mean? Like, he was like, "We need to do this track right now." And I was just gassed, and just getting texts and Facebook messages, and just everyone be like, "Oh my god, let's see a battle!" Like, you know, like random girls I knew that weren't even into battle rap, but like, "Oh, I saw that battle you posted on your Facebook. That was crazy." Like, yeah, it's just good memories.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I said to Flex,
pushing it so hard. You know what I mean? I was like, of course, like I pushed that video. That was fucking crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, you were saying, we were talking about earlier, like MySpace and kind of the early days of this. But this was 2009. Like, no one had a smartphone. No one could just record clips and put it on GRM Daily and get 1 million reads. You know, it didn't exist.
No, it's mental, isn't it? There was no Facebook was around, but there was no like viral Facebook videos and shit like there is now. Like, there was none of that shit even existed.
It's like, do you remember, I mean, Facebook is kind of you know, people say like, oh, she's too old for you, bruv, if she can't answer this or that. But you remember on Facebook when it would have your name and then is, and you couldn't just write a status.
Yeah, it is, and it was like, is thinking, is thinking.
Is watching grind time.
Well, I probably put a thing as like, you know, Rowan 5 is really happy with his performance in California. You know, all that fucking like third person weird shit. Like,
it was weird, wasn't it? It was. So, we pushed forward from the reverse live battle back into home territory with Don't Flop, and you and Illmaculate, was this obvious because you guys didn't face off in the finals? Is this who you wanted?
Do you know what, man? I think it was more our fans wanted to come up to watch him. I think it was between like me, BA, I can't remember, maybe Ark. None of us had really battled him back then, and it was between a few of us. And I think I honestly don't know what the real full reason was, but basically it was just an easier option to battle him myself. Like, bro, obviously, like, I'm not under any false pretenses how good Illmac is, you know what I mean? So I was not gagging to battle him whatsoever. Like, I'm thinking this boy is going to go in on me. Like, so yeah, I wasn't gagging, but it just seemed easy. And after a point, we'd been like negotiating money and shit, and negotiating the flights and blah blah blah. And I was kind of decided, you know, we still hadn't spoke about an opponent. It got to a point, it was like a month out or something. He was, you know, we're still talking and whatever. And I just kind of put my name forward. I'll tell you what's funny is that the tone of the conversation changed so much after that.
Right.
Like when he realized I might be battling him, it was all like very short replies, like very, you know, to the point, yeah, maybe speak to my manager about that. It was very like, yeah, you can fuck off until we've battled now. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, and that's how it came about. And we it was in Vibe Bar in London. And yeah, we just had this nice spot to do the battle. We really wanted a decent crowd, and you know, back then this whole kind of, you know, the Arsenals, the Sue Surfs, they weren't really around back then, if you know what I mean. Like it wasn't really a thing to. The UK fans weren't really screaming out for those kind of names. They were screaming out for the Sauruses, the Illmacs, you know, the Madnesses, the Dirtbag Dan, them kind of names. So it was, like I said, it was more just like, let's get Illmac over and fuck it. I'm up for battling. I killed it against Reverse Live. Let's just do it. Why not? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was it, really.
And this is your, I mean, by my calculations, if we don't count the sort of really early days of Don't Flop, let's use this as our barrier. This is your only real solo battle on Don't Flop in England.
Damn, is that true?
Yeah. So if we go forward, so your next Don't Flop battle was versus Pamphlet with the, you know,
that doesn't really count.
And then you battled Midian Tongue Twister. Then you battled Pamphlet again freestyle. But in terms of like a one-on-one written,
that's crazy.
So it's been more than 6 years, coming up to 6 years.
I mean, I always make sure I battle on Don't Flop, man. When I can, I'll do like a little freestyle battle because it's funny. Like I do try and throw in battles here and there where I can. But you're right, man. A solid one-on-one. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time, but
I've still been active. It just hasn't been on my own league.
Yeah.
But obviously, I should really do one on my league. But I think it's just been like, yeah, I've been active, but just not doing them in Don't Flop. And the opportunities haven't really come up, to be quite honest with you. You know, I couldn't battle 24/7 out here, but I really wanted to fucking battle him. I'm so glad that I did. You know.
I can't wait to get onto that battle. That battle's
but yeah, the Illmac one, man, it was pretty daunting. We went 4 rounds. Like, and I remember, again, as I was saying, him being quite off from me. I remember like kind of calling him up a few nights before the battle when he was actually in UK. By that point, I remember being like, you know what, I've got enough bars if you want to do that 4th round. And he was just like so dismissive on the phone. Like, I was like, damn, man. But you could tell he kind of thought I was trying to pull some snaky shit on him. Like, I already had these bars, but like I genuinely just realized I had enough bars left to write a 4th round. Right. And he was like, cool, man, whatever you want to do, innit? Yeah, do you? And he was being so rude to me, honestly. Like, turned up on a day and like, bro, I was already hosting some battles with BA and shit. He just like walked in the circle and gave me like a kind of half handshake or whatever, and I was thinking, this guy is going to kill me, bro.
Yo, Americans won't get this, but if you're British, it's great. Ain't you that guy with the hammer from the Timpson shop window display? Your ethnicity is Flex Digency. Your gangster name is Mow the Lawn. Him next to a Shetland pony's more like me next to the Trojan horse. Yo!
It's interesting going back, you know, you see certain things that would go on to become massive. Obviously, Don't Flop had Ed Sheeran judge a few things, which is fucking crazy. And I'm sure many other people that, you know, have gone on to great things. Grind Daily are on the intro here, which is great to see as well.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I saw that this morning. I was like, is that the same? Yeah, it is the same. You know, obviously Grind Daily, huge channel at the moment. Body Bagnall as well, watching in the crowds.
That is one of the craziest things. He was in the front row of my battle, and then, you know, a year later he'd come on board and we'd like change the course of Don't Flop. You know, it's so weird, man, honestly. Like,
and you know, Illmac begins him having more fans than you here. So who's the real foreigner? You know,
that was nice.
Keep acting big boy. I'm outcast him. Bagnall loves that line. You know, the reaction's great as well. Just like an in and out scheme in his first. That's really, really strong. And your first is strong too. I think you get stronger. One of the things that I wanted to ask was, obviously we're of a slight similar age, so cultural references, I got this reference, but I think anyone watching this battle would never get this reference if they were like maybe 15 or older. You reference Ghost Ship. Which is like an obscure horror film that wasn't even that good.
That is not what I expected to. I thought you were going to say something else. Yeah, do you know, I've been ripped for that so much. Bro, it's just one of them ones. It's just, certain things just stick in my mind. I don't know why they stick in my mind. They just do, and that is just one of the things that stuck in my mind. I don't know why. I watched the film when I was 18 or whatever, some silly little horror film, and I've always remembered the scene. Now you've seen Ghost Ship, right? So you knew what the reference is at the start of the ship. You know, the start of the film. You remember they're all dancing, having that ballroom thing on the thing. The rope snaps in half, and it cuts all of them in half. Like, now to me, maybe I just assumed a more common horror film than I thought. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if that was like a Saw or something like that, and that happened, that bar would have got a good reaction. Because I thought it was quite an original way to call him short, like your body got cut in half. Do you know what I'm saying? But just clearly no one gave a fuck because it was some stupid film that nobody's seen. Like, but at least you got the fucking bar. Man.
No, you know I got it.
From now on, I'm just writing all my bars for you. I don't give a shit anymore. Fuck the other crowd.
But like, I remember seeing it years ago and just being like, why is he referencing Ghost Ship?
It's just so, man.
I know, I loved it. I kind of appreciate
no reason.
it.
There's literally no reason. It's literally that the film was in my head. He was short. I thought, you know what? That's the only scene from the film I remember. Clearly, it's not as famous scene as I thought. I thought it was one of those things like, you know, like a scene from Pulp Fiction or something everyone knew. I'm like, it's the first scene in the film. Maybe everyone will remember it. Right. You're like that scene where they all got cut in half. No one got it. So I still get the piss taken out of me for it.
And the guy's more than quite short. Feel like a Thunderbird. Measure him 5'4".
That's not bad. That's
funny. No, I love that. And like you say, it's kind of an interesting format. I mean, if you kind of were brought up on Don't Flop Post Blizzard, you'd be like, what is this? But it's 4-minute rounds.
Yeah, 4-minute rounds.
Yeah, it's kind of, you'd never see that on, you know, a Sunburn, would you? Like, that just wouldn't happen. Like, it's kind of interesting that you went for that. And I mean, Illmac in his second. We have kind of something that DNA did, something that Reverse Live did as well, but we didn't touch on. You must be on E if you think you are G. That's why I hate you. It's kind of like H doesn't really work, but I mean, you know, it's
it works.
Yeah.
You know, personally, I like that bar. I do like that bar.
No. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think DNA's huger. I prefer that, but I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I think it works. Like it works. It works enough to be a punch. You know what I'm saying?
And if you go on tour, I hope they crash his bus. Only times I want to see you do mad flips, bruv.
That was nice. He hit. You know, if you're comparing. Man, if you're comparing the bars that he hit me with to the bars that Reverse hit me with, there's, you know, his were considerably better. Like he had some. Bro, he had some fucking good bars, man. Like it was hard to stand in front of that shit. It really, really was, man. It was really hard to stand in front of that shit.
And like I seriously respect Illmac, and I don't mean to like offend or anything in this, but just like, I didn't appreciate when I was first watching the WRCs, just because of, you know, how he is, how young he actually was. Like, he was like a protege, wasn't he? He was killing it at like 16, 17.
Yeah,
it's mad.
Very young.
I recently watched, and I want to literally tell everyone listening to this podcast to watch this. I don't know if you've seen it yourself, Avocado's Fresh Coast documentary.
I think I have seen.
Yeah, it's on his YouTube channel. Just search Avocado Fresh Coast. It's absolutely invaluable if you're interested in 2018. He has long form interviews with Saurus, Illmac, Pass, loads of Parable, loads of people that I've never heard of as well. And one of the things that he shows is a lot of the huge Scribble events were to massive crowds, and like a really young Illmac just tearing the shit out of people. Like, I've never seen him so good. Like, he
says something like, I don't know if it's because I'm short or because you're fat as fuck, but I could fit inside your stomach standing up. Like, that shit was crazy. Like, that was like 2004 or something.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Mad. Like, that was one of the first like clever punchlines I ever heard. It fucking blew my mind.
And, you know, again, so height as a stomach bar prefaces is something you go in well. In the second round, you have a much better movie reference. Again, maybe a film. I was having a discussion with a friend recently that maybe kids these days don't know this film. It's a great film from our childhood, Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers, what a film.
I love that film.
What a film.
Really good film. And you compare Conceited and Illmac shoulder to shoulder like Archer and Chip Hazard.
See, bro, this is what I'm saying, man. That is another bar. I just wrote that for myself.
I love that bar.
To me, bro, I just like the film Small Soldiers. And I thought, do you know what? Art Shearer is brown, Chip Hazard is white, Conceited is a kind of weird shade of brown, Illmac is a weird shade of white. It just fucking works enough to be funny. You know what I'm saying? I just thought, I don't care if anybody even knows what this... Bro, to be honest, by that point, I probably thought, I've already referenced Ghost Ship. I might as well just fucking start referencing, indie films from the 80s and shit.
I mean, it's from the like mid-90s.
Yeah, I think it's like 98, 99?
I think it is, yeah. It was definitely made post Toy Story in kind of them trying to cash in.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of like a dark side of Toy Story.
Yeah. I actually heard... I don't know. I think do you know Gwitty? Are you aware of Gwitty? The kind of hype guy. I think it was him. It might have. No. It was Reaper Rel. It was Reaper Rel versus Glue Easy, which was a recent URL tryout. And he had a line where he's like, "These toys talk. I'm a Gorgonite." And I was like, that's hard as fuck. I was like, like people were reacting, but it's one of those bars where you're like, do people actually get like, but I don't know, maybe they do. Shout out Small Soldiers. Tommy Lee Jones and Liam Neeson as the voices. That's some fucking great voice casting as well. Like I'm just on the IMDb now. Crazy film, Short Soldiers. Going on an Illmac sex life, glory holes at head height.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, we have 4 rounds, so there's a lot of material to get through. Illmac spends a lot of his time on the WRCs, which, you and Ark...
That's all there was then.
Before, this was before memes were even a thing, but you and Ark were arguably the meme of our WRCs 07, right? In a way. You still killed it, and you definitely built... Yeah, you get what I'm saying. Wapps and Juce, we don't need to, because I was very, when we did the podcast, I could tell Ark was kind of gotten over it, but I was still really pissed off by it. It's still raw for me, but you talk of, he does all this stuff. Interesting to see Ark in the crowd as well. When Illmac's going in on the WRC stuff, Ark's kind of a bit more thinking. I love your third. I think your third's one of the funniest ones where again it is short jokes, but you talk about the sort of the 4 elements. And when he's writing his tag with the links bullet, I just thought that was great imagery.
I think again that was, I can't even lie, that wasn't they weren't bars that just came to me. A lot of bars you were kind of thinking about that person or whatever, and it's just something that comes to your head. But I think with those, I was really thinking, okay, I need to find a way to call him short that is relevant to this situation. Do you know what I'm saying? However, even though really it all boils down to you're just calling someone short time and time again. But I just thought I need to come up with an original way to call him short. Do you know what I mean? And I just in my head was okay, we're battling, let me come up with something that's kind of to do with battling the 4 elements, link it to him being short, and it kind of went off.
It works. So like I say, Links when he's writing the tag, he break dances on cornflake boxes from variety packs.
I just tried to, instead of just being you're shorter than this, you're shorter, I just tried to, it might sound a bit corny, but I tried to kind of be we're in a hip hop related thing and I'm calling you short, so I'm gonna try and develop a way of calling you short related to what we're doing, because nobody has done that so far. It was cool. I think it maybe didn't get as much reaction as I thought, because probably now looking back, the crowd wasn't necessarily hip hop heads. They might have been quite a lot of battle fans. Do you know what I mean? Which doesn't mean they were hip hop heads. So they probably didn't care for it as much as I thought. But I think it got some love online and YouTube and shit. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, it was a really, really funny line when he swam from Mexico. They should have called him the Little Mermaid. And then in the 4th, which I think is probably my favourite round, you begin.
I'd say that too. Yeah, I think my 4th went off the most. I finally got comfortable in the battle. So,
and you begin by a reference that even if you're English, you preface it with non-UK heads might not get it. You call.
Oh yeah.
So we've gone from Ghost Ship to Small Soldiers.
So what the fuck was that?
The guy in the Timpson shop window.
Right.
Timpson's is a sort of key cutting shop, right?
Honestly, I even knew when I wrote that. See, you said how I preface it with you probably won't get this stuff, but I just didn't care because growing up in Norwich, anyone who's been to Norwich will know outside the shopping centre in Norwich there are the Timpsons. Now I was there for 15 plus years, every single fucking weekend in that town, walking past that shop. Anytime I've ever got a key card, it's been in that fucking Timpson shop in Eurgh. So like, to me, it's like if I heard someone say that bar, I would go fucking mental. So I did a bit of research on the bar, like checked out if Timpson's was something that was common enough for people to get it. Do you know what I mean? I knew it wasn't like some major, like, you know, HMV kind of chain or something, but I just kind of double checked, and I remember I asked a few people, like, would you get this bar? And like 8 out of 10 of them were like, yeah, that's quite funny. So I was like, cool, fair enough. I was thrown. It was, but yeah, I'll be honest, it was much more thrown in for me than it was for anybody else. I just thought it was so funny to call someone that, because like, you know, someone like you know what Timpson's is. You probably heard it and were like, what a random.
No, I loved it. Yeah. The little silversmith kind of hitting.
So the funniest thing is, someone tweeted me the other day, and he's actually got a name. The guy in the window has a name. Someone tweeted me and was like, I work for Timpson's. I just saw that bar you said about. His name is like Jack or something like that.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I thought his name would be Greg, but you know, it's all good. He's
amazing.
That would be amazing.
That's fucking beautiful.
Just to wrap up, some good Maltese. Talking about how his ethnicity is flex digity.
Is that what did I say?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my god! See, imagine saying that now. The crowd would be like, "Who?"
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
you know what I mean? That's what we said about, like, a fucking example of the era. That is a bar that is only relevant. He doesn't, you know, no offense to Flex Digits, but I mean, you know, he is not an active battler anymore. Like, I would never go in and don't flop battle and say that's like, you know, I might as well go in and say, you know, you're fucking so flaky like Joe Davies or something. It's just kind of like nobody will get them bars anymore. Like, I genuinely did not remember I said that. That's hilarious.
Seriously, I love that. like that's one of my favorites.
Flex Digit. That is so stupid. Oh my god.
And similar to Flex Digits, you say that his album was supposed to be wasn't released on mini disc, which is another thing that just wouldn't get rid of. Forget phone books, he stands on unsold mixtapes.
I like that. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I like. I think that's similar to I considered that when I wrote that similar to the Slabs of Meat bar, to reverse. It's the same principle that I was like, it's that kind of fairly common joke, or I don't really know, joke's probably the wrong word, but you know, that kind of like understanding that, you know, in films and shit, people stand on phone books, they stand on stools or whatever. So it's like, but again, it's not certain that everybody would get what the joke is, if you know. But then I remember having a conversation about it when I wrote it and being like, but if you don't get the phone book reference, it's still just a funny image anyway. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't understand what the joke is, it's still quite funny saying you stand on boxes of your unsold CDs kind of thing. So, I was quite happy. I think I pretty like that. Yeah, I pretty preferred that to the Slabs of Meat bar. It's maybe a little bit more direct and easy to get, if you know what I mean. But it's definitely like a similar pathway of thought of like, I'm going to take something that's a fairly like common, you know, image that people have in their heads and try and flip it in a kind of more hip hop battle rap kind of thing.
I love that. And again, I don't know if we're getting too deep into this. This was the past, this is the present, but this was pre-Bandcamp, right? When you would actually sell mixtapes, like or that piff, should I say?
This is pre, mate. This is in the days where, you know, you're getting hit up by every single battler coming over saying, can I post you some of my CDs? Can I want to sell my CDs? Like, you know, when people print up CDs now, it's 9 out of 10 times to give them away at battle events, because you can give someone a piece of paper that says download this thing, they probably won't. But if you have a box of, you know, plastic sleeves with little blank CDs inside, bang bang, they're gonna take them and probably will give it a listen in the car. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, back in those days, it was not, you know, it was about, this is my main hustle. My you know, Illmac included, his main hustle was printing up full thick, you know, CD jewel cases and shotting them. Like, it's crazy. And what 6 years that has become desolate. Like,
yeah, completely. I mean,
you know, it's mad. Imagine seeing, if you know, walk down 8BW and you see, I don't know, fucking Big T with a box of CDs. You'd be like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you
saying? Antic?
Like, is this your new antic? It's like daylight going to jump out of the box. Like, what are you up to, man?
And just to close out the Illmac round, you talk about him performing in the Playpen, putting up C's like Crash Coast.
That's not bad.
I like that. That gets a big reaction. And Yeah, battle closes out, and I mean, regardless of, I mean, yeah, Illmac performs great in this as well. Like he really does give his all here, and I think
amazing.
He kind of seems to have done well whenever he's came with Stoneflop, the Arkaic battle, the Tony battle. You know, he seems to just, you know, he's quite professional, isn't he? He definitely delivers on that case. And so we push forward a little bit in time. If we're going on sort of verse tracker timeline, there are two battles we're going to skip over. The first one being, I don't know if you even remember this one. I've discussed this with Press One and Kruger. This was your kind of 3v3 at the hip hop festival.
Oh,
yeah. Huge crowd. I mean, if you want to hear more on that, check out those episodes. But yeah, massive crowd. And then obviously facing Kid Twist as well. But coming on to PH, which is you being invited back to Grind Time now.
You are not gangster, never palming the shotty. So talking about Ganesh, the only time you'll have arms on your body. Oh. See, you look like Eurgh Gotti. Come on, don't be silly. You both promote rules and hate approaching 50. See?
Was Grizzlemania 2?
Yeah, Grizzlemania. Yeah, the last ever one, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just to clarify, because I'm kind of trying to. I had Nakia on recently, the King of the Dark funder, so I've been kind of doing a bit of research on people who've put money into the game. And Teddy Grizzle, like, was that kind of a fiasco that produced good battles? What was the story there?
No, I don't think Teddy Grizzle had anything to do with Grizzlemania.
No?
No, not to my knowledge. No, the Teddy Grizzle was a random person that came about years later.
Oh, I literally assumed it was him just because of the name.
No. Teddy Grizzle had nothing to do with Grizzlemania.
Ah, okay. What a weird coincidence.
It's probably a fact. You should probably remember that one in the future.
But I think the reason I was asking maybe then was because these weren't uploading on the Grind Time channel. They're uploading on Andy Milanakis' channel.
I was pissed off about that, bro. I'll be honest. I was seriously annoyed about that. Yeah, man. Not happy at all.
And do you know why that happened? Because he was kind of in the scene, wasn't he, a bit? Or
yeah. Why it happened with PH and the other battles is that... Okay, so I'm going to break down what I know.
Yeah.
When I say no, I should probably say think. Supposedly what happened is that Cap Callus funded the whole event. Okay, so Grizzlemania was not cheap. He's paying Enes and Solomon, he's paying them a few thousand each. He's obviously got my flight, he gave me some money as well, and this and that, and whatever. You know what I mean? It's pretty fucking expensive event for that period of time. And I think that he was under the impression that he would be recompensated for his expenses out of the takings, which of course is exactly how it should be. Now I think he was assuming he was going to get money back through the YouTube views, mainly the event tickets, and probably a couple other ways as well. Now what I think happened is that the Grind Time staff kind of told him, no, we're not going to give you the money from the views because whatever, which is, if that's true, it is pretty fucking stupid. Considering he funded the event basically I think 90% himself. So I think Cap Callus was basically really pissed off and just said fuck you then, and that's why he never worked with them again. And I think they tried to get him back many times, but he was just like, no, I'm not on it, because he basically thrown one of the best events ever off his own money and then wasn't offered the chance to get it back. And I assume, okay, it's a complete assumption, but I assume off the door money he got some of his money back, but he was definitely still owed money for the money he'd paid out. And yeah, it was from like the day they obviously said to him, nah, we're not going to let you get the money back in that way. He just said, all right, cool, well, I'm going to give the battles to another channel. Now, because Andy Milanakis was at every event back then and his channel was quite popping, it was okay. And obviously, the PH battle was done all right, but it would have done so much better on the Grind Time channel, because it was such a kind of sought after battle. After that event, that was the talk of the internet. Like, trust me, like every forum about Grind Time was like, they need to release Eurgh PH, whatever. So when I found found out, because do you know what was really annoying as well is that they released Ines vs Iron Solomon on Grind Time. So I was trying to say, I remember trying to say to Tap, like, yo, look, please do me the favor of, like, I'm asking you, please release my battle on Grind Time. And you know, he was not on it, and I wasn't going to push that. Do you know what I mean? As a league owner myself and shit, I've had the piss taken out of me, and I wasn't going to push that, bro. I was like, yeah, do you know what? Like, if you're owed money and you're not really being taken seriously and you're not being valued, it's your battle. I'm in the battle. Realistically, him and Avocado own that battle because they filmed it and they paid for it. I don't own shit. So he decided to put on Adi Milanaka's channel, and I don't begrudge him for it. Like, you know, if I could go back and I could change it, I think I put it on Grind Time, because no exaggeration, I think it would have got double the views on Grind Time's channel.
Right.
Because PH was such a relevant name at the time, and I had a lot of love in my reverse live battle. But yeah, that's what happened. We just kind of kept it moving, promoted it even harder because it wasn't on the normal channel. I tried to really get out there, like, and yeah, it was good. It was cool. It was all right. Like, it's done okay. Do you know what I mean? It's done all right.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying because you know, you go on a video on YouTube and you can check its stats. You can check how much views it had 10 years, not 10 years, 5 years ago, whatever. But you can't really do that with subs. And Andy Milanakis at the moment has 388,000 subscribers, which is pretty huge. But maybe 6 years ago, it didn't quite dwarf what Grind Time is now, which is 142,000. Which isn't even, that's a lot less than I thought it'd be, actually. But I guess...
Well, no, it's because a lot of people have unsubscribed. They used to have a massive amount, but they don't really put out, they don't put out too much content anymore. So, a lot of people unsubscribe.
And it's worth saying as well, just to go through this card, Grizzlemania, like you say, is one of the sort of fated battle rap events. I mean, and it looks crazy as well. I mean, it's from the end of 2010, but the crisp quality of the visual is brilliant.
Very good quality film. Very, very good quality film stuff, man. That event was something so special to be part of, bro. Like, so fucking special.
Madness Soul Khan.
Yeah, man, I was actually I shared a room with Soul Khan the whole weekend.
Oh, right. That's
yeah,
cool.
man. Yeah. That's actually me sharing that room with Soul Khan is the reason Soul Khan vs Sensor happened, because Cap Callas put us in the same room and we just obviously practiced our bars all weekend. I think we may have met before, possibly at King of the Dot or something. So yeah, we just practiced our bars all weekend. And what's jokes is that he kept fucking up. Like, Soul Khan, with every single time he went over his bars, he was fucking up. And he was just like, yo, like, you're getting them so perfect every time. He was just like, it's putting me off more because it's making me feel so underprepped. And it's true, the more I got them right, the more he fucked them up. And then, this is probably like 3 days before the battle. And then by the time we got to the battle, if you watch the battle, you obviously can't tell that at all. No. But yeah, he was very nervous. He was going to choke. And it was so funny that it got to the point that he made me so nervous that I started choking. And I was like, bro, if I fucking choke in this battle after I've got them perfect about 99 times, I was like, I will hate you forever. It's your bad vibes waking up to you every morning, tripping out that you're practicing in the corner at 6 a.m. Do you know what I mean? But back to the event. Oh my
crazy. Saurus Real Deal.
Amazing. You know what? Swave Sever vs Sid Vicious. Amazing. Everybody stepped it up for that event.
Caddy versus Mood Swings.
And that was a beef as well. That was a fucking beef. Saurus and Real Deal. Saurus had that hilarious bar when he was just kind of like, you're trying to, get the kids to stay off drugs, and they're kind of like, shut the fuck up, you were missing the bus. Like, it was just so fun. Then, Sid Vicious vs Swave had so many fucking banging punchlines in. And, Ines vs Iron Solomon, absolutely amazing to see live. Like, literally right before Ines vs Iron Solomon, Iron Solomon took me to the bar and just bought me a shot because he was just like, yo, bro, he was just like, that performance was crazy. And it meant, again, do you know what I mean? Like, a legend like Solomon, man, he took me to the bar and was like, let me buy you a drink, man, that you went crazy. And bang, he was just so calm at the bar, man. Like, I remember, I was like, bro, you're fucking returning to battling in like 10 minutes. And he was just like, yeah, it's all good. And he was just not even a slight.
And he's came back to King of the Dark without a sweat, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he's like a fucking KOTD regular.
Yeah, he's like top tier, just like,
Yeah, no, we've been trying to we haven't actively tried to get him on Dirty Flop, but we're definitely going to look into getting him.
Yeah, oh man, yeah. And just before we get into the battle, the other one, Mac Lethal, Dirtbag Dan, that was another huge one.
Oh god, yeah, that was. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Mac Lethal, man, I watched that today. He just rags on Dirtbag Dan for having no money and being a failure. Like, it's just 3 rounds of this attack. It's great.
But again, it's just that. But Dan comes back with that piss taking direct style, like, you know, the fucking who, like, you know doesn't love Mac Lethal, black people, you don't like black people, Mac Lethal. It's just perfect. Like, same way when Dirtbag Dan, he must have said to Mad Child when he was kind of like, he said something like, you quit drugs, well done, you're the man for that, but we're all gonna go get fucked up because we're not pussies and we can handle that. Like, it's just like, that, do you know what I mean? That's straight to the point, piss takey punchlines, man. Like, I like that shit. And Mac Lethal, that just every battle on that card was amazing.
The energy seems fantastic. And I know this is sort of a minor thing. There were like fairy lights in the background, which just kind of, it's a little edge. Like, I don't know what it is, but it just kind of like, you see so many kind of grubby rooms. It's a nice kind of levity. I don't know.
Amazing, man. Honestly, that is, I think, one of the best battle rap events ever. Definitely.
Yeah. So we're in Miami. Bishop's there, Awkward's is there, Cap Callus, as you say. PH. I mean, we need to get on to PH. Obviously, rest in peace, PH. Did you feel any sort of, like, I mean, when he passed, when you reflected on this battle? Because obviously this is a crazy battle, and a lot of people will say this is one of the biggest PH battles, like, ever. Like,
I mean, when he passed, me and him had no kind of personal relationship whatsoever.
Of course.
It's very, very weird. It's a really strange feeling. Like I know exactly where I was when I found out it died. I was just about to go get dinner. And I saw, I was walking down the road in Muswell Hill, actually. I remember, it's so, you know what I mean? It's so strange. I remember it so clearly, even though it's like I don't, even know PH. It just really affected me. Like, I was walking down the road in Muswell Hill, and then, just like loaded up Twitter just randomly, and then saw all these, condolences and tributes, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I thought it was like some kind of troll. Like, I honestly thought there was some kind of joke I wasn't getting, and then I checked a few more pages and I was like, oh shit, like, this is real. And do you know what I did? I felt really, really bad. Like, I felt like, damn, do you know what I mean? Like, me and him have this thing that is shared forever. Do you know what I'm saying? That sounds so corny, but
it's true.
That is honestly how I see it. It's in exactly the same way that I have no kind of personal relationship with 24/7 or anyone. But if I heard 24/7 just died right now, I'd be really sad. Because I think also, especially because I think the reason it made me more sad is the battle between me and PH had a build up, so it stuck with me. It's not like we turned up on a day and we were choking and we didn't really know who each other were. It's like, we were really fucking winding each other up on Twitter, and at the hotel, he refused to speak to me at the hotel. Do you know what I mean? He absolutely refused to have any kind of contact with me before the battle. So I was like, all right, cool. Do you know what? If that's how we're going, you're right. Back that time, because I really felt like I was going to win. I honestly did. Everybody doubted me, and I was like, nah, you don't understand. Like, I'm going to fuck this guy up, seriously. And the way everybody was being at the hotel and shit, I thought, all right, cool then. Let's go get this done. Do you know what I mean? I remember being outside the venue, like, cool, I'm ready any fucking time. As soon as Cap Callus came to get me, I was like, let's go right now. Let's go right fucking now. Like, I think you can tell in the battle by the way I'm being. I'm like, cool, if you don't want to be respectful, I ain't gonna be respectful either. Like, and it's all of that is something I can never forget. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like hearing that person is no longer around. It's like I may have not spoken to that person for the next 3-4 years, but that's not the point. It's the point that there was, for as long as I live, that is something I will always remember. I remember the anger and the emotion we both had in that battle, and I'll remember, hearing that I've won and being over the moon that I've won. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was so happy to be able to come back to England and say, like, I'm the only English guy that went out there and I come back with a win. Like, I was so pleased, man. Like,
and just to put it into context for the listeners, like, PH as a figure, I mean, outside of battling at that point was still, gigantic, right?
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, I used to listen to all that shit. You know, they're all kind of interconnected. You know, you got your Immortal Techniques, Poison Pain, Copyright. All that era of people are all connected. They all have some kind of relationship with each other. So yeah, I knew. You know, I'm not going to lie and say I was, bumping Pumpkinhead albums when I was in college. However, when I was in college, I was listening to albums that had Pumpkinhead on. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is a very crystal clear my memory of that. But you know, I knew who he was, and I think when he started battling, I remember thinking that this is quite a big deal. You know what I mean? It's like in the same way that anybody from that era becoming a regular battler, it is a big deal. So for me, just any kid from Norwich to be able to go to Miami, like one of the coolest places in the world, for free, you know, I mean, it wasn't even. I might be not telling the truth. I might have not even got paid for that battle. I honestly can't remember, to be honest with you. But just the being able at like 20 years old or whatever to just be flown to Miami and just battle someone that you have their music on your iPod, like, it's crazy. And but what's
and you bodied him.
I'd say what is hilarious, talking about music before I forget, what's hilarious about that battle is that when it comes to taking bars, like, I'm not too proud, and I'm not the opposite to that, whatever that is. Like, I'm not an Arcane that's going to fucking take.
Sure.
I don't want 5 notebooks of bars, but I'm not too proud. Like, if you holler me and say you're battling PH, take this bar, I'm gonna say I don't give a fuck, because I've done it for so many other people. I think, do you know what? Maybe it's time I would give it a bar. Like, so the funniest thing is that in that PH battle, I wrote every single bar myself, apart from the. When you're tucking your kids into bed, you're so boring, just spit him a lyric instead, or however it's worded. And that was by Eurgh, and Eurgh had that bar for Verb T, and he was like, you could use it on PH. It was so much more effective on PH. So I just threw it in. It wasn't even because I needed bars. I was like, fuck it, that's quite a chunks bar, actually, fuck it. And the funniest thing, it shows how much of a developed style Eurgh has, because as soon as the battle was released, of course, everybody knowing me and Eurgh are friends, there were so many comments like, I guarantee Eurgh gave him that lyric instead bar. I was just like, how is it so obvious? Like, it's not even like I start my round with it. It's in the middle of one of my verses, and nobody said, I bet he got given another bar. It was always that bar. So I remember I said publicly, I was like, that's crazy, because like, he did give me that bar, and that is mental that I spat it in what I thought was my way, and people still knew it was a Eurgh bar. So it's like, it's mental, man.
Yeah, that is the artistic touch is crazy, and you keep.
I'm not embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. No, that's what I'm saying. I think it pisses me off when there's this whole thing of old taking. But look, at the end of the day, bro, if you're two mates and you both are battle rappers, you both got battles coming up, you're gonna throw each other bars. You know, every single 2-on-2 that's ever happened, I can tell you outright, some of the best bars you think somebody has said, the other one's written. Like, and ask any 2-on-2 team. Eurgh has spat bars that I've written, and I have honestly said to him, you spit this bar, it would sound better coming from you. And then he'll write something, and then he'll be like, you spit this bar. It's just normal. It's how this game is. Like, and talk to, I don't know, Caustic and Pass. I bet when they're 2-on-2, O'Shea and Pedro, they were just probably mixing up lines left, right, and center. Do you know what I mean? It's just how it is. So Eurgh goes, I got 1 bar left from Verb T, spit it to PH. I'm gonna be like, why not? Like, I've written 98% of this battle myself, so who cares?
Yeah, and I think the first is, I don't know, I don't want to say weakest, because it's still a really good round, but I think the second and third is where you really build momentum. But the whole flip about grey Nikes are a classic pair, keep them in good condition, I'll match your hair. Dope as fuck. Like, kills it. And like, you can tell, like you were saying, the animosity there. You can definitely tell PH wants to win. You can definitely tell that Team Homie are in the building. I love the fact that you put your hand around Poison Pen, and he clearly doesn't want to react. Like, and you call PH.
Come on, bro. Like, these are bangers. These are bangers. Come on.
It's you point to PH. Look, it's the Blue House and the Bear, which is pretty funny, pretty acclimatized the thing there. And Reservoir Underdog gets loads of YouTube YouTube love, that line. People love that line.
Definitely, you're right. It's definitely a YouTube bar.
Love that one. Englishman bringing the medication for free. Obviously, we'll get to the DNA battle. That kills it as well. And then, like I say, you put your name around Poison Pen, Poison Pension, just crazy shit. And then take this LP for fucking with the company flow. Kind of like what Reverse Live was kind of aiming with his Vinny Paz stuff, right? A kind of wink hip hop bar that hits. It's a big ender. And PH. The problem is, it's kind of like if you're facing an American guy, you're not going to use New York bars on a Texas guy, but you can use Scouse bars on a Londoner, like, if you know what I mean. And it doesn't matter, like, you know. So hit a 10.6, witness an earthquake, fuck this red coat. You know, you probably feel right at home standing in a Liverpool. That was terrible. Berry's ass in Strawberry Fields. I was just like, okay. Ark and looked like an exact composite of Wallace and Gromit.
Again, I don't really agree. I think I'll tell you. I think what frustrated me about a lot of those bars is that the way he was talking on Twitter was that he was coming with, you know, fucking fire, bro. Like, and it was something about the level of confidence. I think this happens a lot in battle rap, that like when people are overly confident, they often either choke, like forget their shit, or they just generally kind of whack. Like, I don't know. And I think it's all about being. You should promote the battle, and he did a good job of promoting the battle. But I do think, like, don't overdo it. And I feel like in the lead up to the battle, he gassed it too much. He was saying, you're going to get bodied. And I was just thinking, bro, with these bars that I'm writing, I'm not going to get bodied unless you have some crazy kind of scheme on me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like, like the Liverpool bar, the this and that, it kind of felt like he'd just listed a load of English things, TV programs, and just thought, I'm going to come up with punchlines on all of them. And to be honest with you, I didn't really like a lot of stuff he said to me. I think some of his concepts were quite good, but I don't think they were worded that well. I think if you're going to talk that much smack before a battle, you need to have like fucking sick punchlines. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, I can't remember many of them, but I remember he did have a few concepts here and there that I thought I personally would have just worded that in a different way, if you know what I mean? And I would have tried to make it more of a punchline instead of just like a bunch of words together that rhyme. I think that's fair. Yeah, his material here isn't anything special, to be honest. No, your flips in the second of grey. It's not gangster talking about Ganesh. The only time you'll ever have arms on your body. Yeah. And then the Irv Gotti line. You both promote rules and are that might be my favourite line I said, actually.
You can literally see this rambunctious wink on your face, like, you can see this little smile off camera. You know this is going to hit.
Do you know what it is? Do you know why I knew it was going to hit? Because the Biggie line hit. Once I see, all right, cool, they get what I'm trying to do with these bars, I'm like, all right, let me see how I can beat the Biggie line. And I think that is a better line than the Biggie line. Like, that line gets, to this day, I will bump into people and they'll quote that. But that, crazy. And what you said earlier, the grey Nikes matching pair, a true story. Somebody came up to me on the tube when I had grey shoes on and didn't even say hello. They walked right up to me and just went, those grey Nikes are a classic pair. I just burst out laughing. I was like, whoever the fuck you are a legend. Like, the whole train carriage was looking at us like, who are these two absolute weirdos who just started laughing and they don't even know each other? And we ended up talking for like 10 stops. But I think that and the promote, I hate approaching 50. I think they're the two most quoted bars of mine for that battle.
And you clarify he's approaching 51. But just crazy. Comparing to Prop Joe, always nice to see
again. No one got that. Do you know what I tell you about the bar? Do you know who got that bar? Little Farnham.
Right.
Little Farmer was in the crowd and he got it, and I remember I heard him that he got it, and he came up to me afterwards and he was like, yo, the crowd was sleeping on that Proposition Joe bar. And I was like, I don't know what to say.
It's just like, if you're a nerdy Wire fan like myself, I'm sure you are, you have to, like, if there was a Training Days event and someone dropped like a Michael bar, I'd have to go up to them afterwards, you know what I mean? It's like when Ognios did that cop before a teacher prays for Lucy's bar against Real Deal. It's just like, it's too much, man. And when Tony referenced Weebay in the Chris Lees, I'm sure there's many others as well. But
Tony's referenced The Wire quite a few times.
Yeah.
People don't usually get what he's talking about because he picks very obscure references. But he loves The Wire. But yeah, no, I think that might be one of my favorite bars I've said. I think because it was just,
oh man.
It was an interesting bar, but at the same time, it was one of those ones where I was like, okay, this is a bit complex, but I know everyone's going to get it. There's very few people there won't get this bar. And it did take him a minute, and like it took everyone a minute to kind of catch on. But once they caught on, I liked those reactions. It's nice to spit a bar and get that slowly caught on reaction, because you're just like, okay, cool, like you're getting it now. Like. And
I think you have the power with your punches to really kind of put someone in their place and to make the audience see them in a certain way, in a certain negative way. So in the reverse live thing, I mean, it was a bar we kind of breezed over, but I do really like the whole thing when you talk about this is something that I take seriously, not something that, you know, when bang practice is cancelled. And here you end the second with well, I quite like to put out personal ads for those single syllable rhymes, is quite nice. But the whole whack bars like a grandpa with racist opinions, they are forgiven because in your day it was different. There's a real kind of draw, especially for someone like myself who didn't go to college and listen to PH. He's great because I'm told that he's great. And like when I came to this battle, and I felt that kind of hit the nail on the head there. And there is a bit of a style clash between you. He still holds his own, but I think again with the third as well, this is a pretty abusive session right there. This is referring to his just round that's just concluded. Right there was a useful lesson in how you fuck up and lose momentum. I mean, that sweeps the room, like, you know. And I don't think an American guy would ever write something like that, and it benefits for it.
Yeah, I think it shows really. I do think it shows if you've got somebody like me who's trying their hardest to make everything a very clear punchline, and it's then against someone like PH who was just more about the rapping. Like, he was more about kind of, okay, I'll call him British and call him this, but it's more about how I'm going to flow it and deliver it. Like, the person doing the punchline is always going to win. That's how I see it. Like, battle rap is about punchline. It doesn't matter what you fucking say, it's about punchlines. So I think I just out punched him in every way in the battle, and that's how I knew it was going to happen. That's why when he was getting so cocky, I was just like, cool, bro, like, do your thing, like, that's fine, but I'm gonna have more hard hitting. I think probably by that point I'd probably written that I've got it line, and I was like, this is a banger, like, it's a deep, you know, and it was cool. Yeah, I think it kind of went how I thought it was going to go.
And then you take the victory, which is, I mean, your biggest scalp to date, is it fair to say, kind of, especially because on an international stage, someone like PH.
My biggest what, sir?
Your biggest, like, the biggest name you've beaten. Like, you know, the biggest sort of hedge you've got.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, probably.
I mean, in terms of kind of, I guess it's in terms of real name value, isn't it? You were talking about listening to in college. Pumpkinhead is kind of one of those people. PH is one of those people that'll go out of the thing. But you know, you stay away from the international scene for a little while. I mean, you and Kruger did do that 2-on-2 with Shazam and Niels, which I really like because it's really long. Like, you guys wrote for ages in that one.
Funnily enough, that's the reason I don't like it, because I actually think there's some great bars from both sides in that battle, but it's way too long. It's
like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of main event of a sort of 2011 event, so they have to kind of get their money's worth. But I get what you're saying, and you battled Saurus as well and King of the Dot, which is kind of unfortunately with Battle Resume, we just have to skip over battles, so we're not going to talk about that one. Maybe next time. But a battle that I do want to get onto, which was the first time that I ever saw you. Actually, I just want to say that kind of I was in Stoneflop for maybe about a year or so, really into it, kind of, you know, obviously aware of you as host, did not know you were battled, like literally just didn't know you were battled. And I remember seeing DNA versus and being like, oh, is that? And you kind of, in the thumbnail, it's a guy with a shaded face and a blue cap, and I'm like, is that? And I remember clicking on it and seeing, like, in the intro to you and Arkaic sort of thing, and there's a comment on the I think it's on the John video, which encapsulates a lot of fans' feelings. Almost almost nervous before you performed, just because I didn't know what it was going to be like. I'd seen so many battles that you'd watched. I'd seen you watching hundreds of battles, and it was just really exciting for you to kind of, it opens with the 2007 interview with Arkaic. This is on the WRC thing as well. You were saying for 6 months ago you couldn't do anything off the top of your head. Now you and Arkaic are rapping over and over, and the build-up is fantastic. I remember seeing these videos after kind of watching the sort of, I think it was like 4th birthday, which obviously production-wise were amazing, but this Vendetta event with Cannabis, crazy event, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Like visually wonderful.
It was just I had to be a part of it. Simple as that. I knew I had to.
Diamondback's logo, D is a snake. Yo, now you're a buffalo. For collabs, people are speeding away when you're gonna charge. If Eric's costing, they immediately skate.
Once I was still there, everyone was talking in Assy Impact and Impact and Enigma talking about they'd been part of it and blah blah blah. I just thought, I gotta be part of this.
Again begins, you versus DNA talking about the first 3 years. He didn't even write anything down, so it was kind of very much off the top kind of thing. And I mean, again, what an event I'm saying, but like DNA, a huge URL name at this point. Like, you started young, but surely by 2012, you battled some big guys over there.
Yeah.
And like, how was this offered to you? Did you saying Impact and Enigma, did you reach out to Organic specifically? Were you waiting for the call, or?
Yeah, no. I spoke to Organic. Basically, I just had this feeling inside me, like I just need to be a part of this event. So Impact told me he was flying out just for the jokes of it, and Enigma told me the same, blah blah blah. Like, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna get a battle because I can get flown out there for free. Let's just do it. Like, and then they offered DNA, and I was like, oh shit, that is a big name. Like, this battle could be a classic. Like, and I still believe it was. Like, I think it was, and it turned out how it should have been, and that's why it's got more views than the other ones from the event. Do you know what I mean? Because of that, and I think it all happened so quickly. It's the quickest I've ever written about it, because he was like, he chatted to DNA, and I didn't even know if DNA would know who I was, but he knew me from the PH battle because he was friends with PH and whatever. We accepted it maybe about 2 weeks before, maybe 2.5. It was very, very last minute, whatever it was, and then just bang, just got down to the writing straight away. So, I remember when I accepted the battle, I was staying with a friend at the time, and just like before I accepted the battle, I went outside and just sat on the wall outside our house at the time and was like, just give me 15 minutes, I need to think this over. Like, left my phone and everything indoors and just went and sat outside in the darkness and was just like, can I actually do this? Because this is going to be a serious amount of pressure. Because the main point to remember is that before the event, you have to remember, everybody thought this was going to be 1,000, 2,000 people. So no one knew that it was going to be as little people as it was. Right. So it's like, in my head, I'm now about to maybe say yes to battle in front of the biggest crowd I've ever battled in front of in my fucking life. So I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like, thought about it for 15, 20 minutes, came up with a few bars. I just thought, I could do this. Fuck it, this would be hilarious. Like, came back in, DM'd Organic, telling us on, and then they kind of announced it then and there. And then same with Kruger and Saurus. Kruger was like, fuck it, I'm down to come. Saurus was looking for a battle. We was like, cool, whatever, let's do it. And just had a couple writing sessions by myself. Linked up with Kruger a couple of times to compare our bars and shit. And then just before you knew it, we were in the ring.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that this isn't a classic. Like, this is something that I've returned to, ever since I watched it. I literally, you were talking about how you remember the reverse live battle coming out, and this isn't as glamorous as a story, but I literally remember the first time I watched it. So I remember I went to uni in Liverpool, and I remember being in our sort of student lounge on my own, and I just cooked dinner, and I had the laptop hooked up to the screen on the HDMI, and I was just looking for battles, and I just put it on, and I was like, I was like, fucking hell. I remember sending it to my friend and just being like, this is crazy, this is like nothing I've ever seen before. Like, I didn't even know DNA was, and I just thought it was so good. And like, one of the things that I found, and one of the things that I definitely see in your writing style, because obviously we're getting to this point in your career where Don't Flop's been a real thing for many years now. You've seen hundreds of battles. There are so many punches in each round, which you're going to get into. You feel like it feels like you've sieved through what's shitty about battling, and you've really, I can't believe you had so little time to write for it, because it seems so precise.
to be honest with you, I think that's what helped it. I think it was really assisted by the fact it was so last minute, and I honestly, I think that helped him, man. I think the pressure, there wasn't time to, draft and redraft and this and that. It was just kind of like write some fucking punchlines and learn the bars. And that's what I did. You know what I mean? And it worked out amazingly. Like it was just punch after punch after punch. And I did redraft a few things a couple of times when I got right down to the end. But really, that's one of the only battles, if not the only battle I've done, where it's kind of just like, whatever you write, this is what you're saying. Because there's no time to be messing about and calling up Kruger for 2 hours saying, I put that that multi there. So no, it's just write some punchlines and learn them, because again I felt so pressured by the fact I'm going to be seeing Cannabis battle and I'm going to be there in front of what I thought thousands of people. So I was like, fuck.
So what happened then? Because like you say, Cannabis Deers was like, obviously iconic battle since, but they didn't sell tickets. I was kind of surprised they didn't sell, or what?
I think it's just as every battle league has done. It's just battle leagues make overestimations, and I think they overestimated the draw of Cannabis in 2012. It's very different if you had a Cannabis battle in 2002. Now, if you imagine that when he was at his peak, if you had Cannabis battle anybody, you would probably sell 1,000 tickets. Because to put it into a comparison, Don't Flop has sold near to 1,000 tickets untimed, and we're not using quote unquote relevant rappers from the hip hop history, but Cannabis in 2012 is not going to sell 1,000 tickets because no one gives a fuck. People were talking. I remember Exhibit tweeting like, I feel like this is the fucking Twilight Zone. Like I just saw Cannabis pull out a fucking notepad in the rap battle. Like, is this real? So it's like, of course, the whole of the rap scene has watched that battle. I think I'm even going out. I am sure, without a doubt, Jay-Z will have watched that battle. Eminem will have watched that battle. Every rapper in the world has watched that battle because they all looked up to Cannabis at one time. But again, all that put together does not mean that 1,000 people are going to come out. And like I said, Don't Flop has made the same mistakes. Smack made the same mistakes. It just happens sometimes. But it worked in my favor because it meant I was less fucking nervous.
Yeah.
I turned up on the day. Don't get me wrong. Like I was still practicing my bars manically in the corner, but just the fact there wasn't that many people, I was like, cool, fine. This is going to be a battle for the internet, and it was a battle for the internet. You got over 1 million views. I never expected it. I thought honestly it would probably get a couple 100K because it'd be a decent battle, but it shows the quality of the battle because we are both just focused on the fucking rapping and shit. It blew up more than I ever thought it would.
Yeah, it's incredible. And DNA, I mean, obviously Don't Flop loves DNA in terms of like he's giving great performances over here time and time again.
Sure.
And he always shows out. I mean, even people were saying like the whole Koj Pedro definition. Oh, he did well in every single. You know what I mean? Like he was great. Like, how can you hate if someone kills it? And I've always loved DNA. But coming up to this point, especially, so this was before DNA was the number one battle in the world. So he had the sort of grind time run, he battled like Lopeshi and Roan. Then he had the URL run and continuing run, but battling people like Sue Surf, Big T, T-Rex, Young Ill, and you were pretty much his King of the Dot battle after Disaster battle, which was a fucking enormous battle. So this is a ridiculously big battle. We, kick it off. You got to get your DNA sort of flips, find out who the daddy is if DNA test is kind of a nice energy there. And then, you go in quickly, very personally, on something that everyone's going to remember when they're watching this battle, is the whole something he did against Disaster. Who remembers when he said something I do? Your wedding vows will probably be something I do. And then the whole 30 somethings in your bars like an episode of Cheers. That's fucking madness, that line.
That was probably the best reaction I got.
Penn. Oh man, he's like Norm over there, like he's going crazy.
Yeah, I think that was probably was my biggest reaction about.
I love that bar. Absolutely love that bar. I think similar to the whole kind of you should name your band with. It kind of have almost like a poet's eye for the way you've kind of like pulled apart the syllables.
Just like a kind of an easy to get wordplay, and I think they are always the best. Like wordplay in general will always get good reactions, but especially quick, easy to get wordplay. 30 somethings in your brother. It's a very simple, straightforward bar to understand, and the reaction probably again was a bit bigger than I thought. Like with a lot of the bars, I was very surprised. Like with that, I knew it would get a reaction, but I think I got a much better reaction than I ever fucking thought. And again, as far as quotables, that's like another line that gets quoted to me all the time.
Yeah,
like 24/7, that bar gets quoted to me. I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of that bar. I think, I threw that one in early to get the crowd on my side. I think it probably was one of the best bars I said out of all 3 rounds. Fuck this idea of put all your biggest bars in your 3rd round. Fuck that. No, don't bore people for 2 rounds. Put some bangers in your 1st round. Like,
No, and yeah, like you say, it's so many times bars wordplay is overdone, isn't it? But I think in that case, you've just got enough there, and then you go in on sort of trite wordplay. So Reverse Live, we keep coming back to Reverse Live for some reason, but he has a sort of Princess Di line, and you say unoriginal Diana lines. You've all got tunnel vision, which is just like, that's like Tony D-esque, and it's just you know what I mean? Like, that's something he would write. Like, that's just so concise. Like, that hits as well. DNA's misuse of Twitter, other shit to use apart from the retweet button, and then like a really aggressive end, which I think really, it seems like the Don't Flop guys understand this a bit better than the other guys. You need to end your round strong. You need to kind of have people remember what he said, and then the whole getting a t-shirt and stamping a pattern doesn't cancel out the fact that it actually happened. Like, it's heavy, man. Like, I love it. I love the ending to that round.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? Somebody who is really good at doing that is Censor. Like, Censor has always been good at just like, don't just trail off. Don't write 16 bars and go, okay, well, I've written 16 bars, now that's my 2nd round. Just end that shit on something that, that you've written that is banging. It doesn't matter when you wrote the bar. That's what fucking the delete button and the cut and copy and paste buttons are for. Like, so I mean, take that banger, put it at the end, and I think you're right. I think that is a very Don't Flop thing to do, because I'm a huge fan of Smack, a massive fan of Smack, but I think definitely one of the major points about Smack that could do with improvement is that it doesn't seem like they put effort in arranging bars in a specific way. It's like, it's very much just kind of like, I'm going to start writing for you once I reach 3 minutes. This is round number 1. I don't think that's the right way to be it. Me personally, and I think most of Don't Flop, is about write all the bars and then be like, okay, cool, I wanted some bangers in my 1st, some bangers in my 2nd, some bangers in my 3rd. Let's just go from there. So yeah, I think that battle was an example of that, of trying to spread out punchlines so they're kind of quite evenly. I can't remember. I think my 2nd round went off the best, if I remember correctly. Like, I think my 2nd round had the most kind of reactions with the freestyling and the punchlines and whatever. It was quite a good mix of stuff.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, I want to just reiterate what I was saying. Like, your punch count is ridiculous. Like, in terms of the intelligent punches that really break down the person. Like, I mean, I don't mean to be kissing your ass. Like, you're the guest, and there's a certain expectation there. But I'm being objective here. Like,
I appreciate. Yeah,
I've had a lot of battlers on the show, and I've broke down a lot of battles. And just in terms of, like, I'm all for florid wordplay and clever ideas and schemes and shit. I mean, in terms of just like kind of, and it's almost as like, if you didn't know who DNA was, like, you're not going to get the something bar if you don't know who DNA was. But there's lots of like the Twitter stuff and stuff like that kind of attacks him. But yeah, DNA's first. I mean, in the John battle, which I really like, which we're going to get onto again, you go in on sort of wrist, hair wordplay, which I agree is fucking bullshit. And that's what DNA starts with. If you remember, I mean, also, some of these King of the Dot battles look like fucking Street Fighter backdrops, don't they? Like, I love the loft you're battling in this Vendetta thing. It just looks awesome. And there is that guy with dope on his shirt, and Lush has like the leather jacket and shit. And yeah, DNA kind of flips that from here on out. There, lots of DNA flips. Follow genetic code. Have this battle. DNA make up who you are. Again, we mentioned even with the correct letters, your name couldn't be huger than mine. That's pretty clever. I thought that was quite good. We get a foreigner. Put the foreigner.
Again, I haven't
it's
heard
pretty hard.
If it's that's my kind of my motto with the bars. If it's the first time that I've heard it, maybe I'll let it slide. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that battle is a perfect example of that. That there was many things got said that maybe I don't like all of them that much, but
no.
You know what I mean? If it's the first time it's been said, at least you're trying to be original.
No, totally. And possibly my favourite moment of DNA's entire battle is when he's like, blacker than you. That whole sequence. That is fucking hype as fuck, man.
Amazing. Do you know what's funny about that? What's funny is that, like, a lot of people think that I'm going to say that bar is whack. So a lot of people will be like, oh, do you know what I didn't like is that rapper shit's corny. And I'm, every time I'm like, no, it wasn't. Because the point is, battle rap is not all about who can be, the cleverest. It's sometimes about rapping as well. Like, yeah, cool. Of course, I'm a big supporter of big punchlines and big writing, but if you cannot deliver that shit, it means nothing. So I get why people think I probably thought that was whack, but it's like, that is a perfect example right there. It's how you sell a bar. Like, and he didn't think that was fucking Shakespeare doing rap, black but it's the way he spat it right there up in my grill, like bang, da 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 da. Like, that shit was. I was there like, oh man, he's going ham. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
incredible. I mean, it gives Lush One a shiver. Like he literally, like, on camera, just like he goes crazy. Like,
Oh man, you're making me want to fucking rewatch this battle. I haven't watched it.
It's fucking.
I think I might stick this on before we get to bed.
Yeah, no, do, man. Like I was saying, all those years ago when I was a student and I watched it, but I've seen it so many times that when I was rewatching it and making the notes, it didn't quite hit as hard, but it's still. It's one of those moments I'll never forget, almost. It's just, I know it's kind of, there's no but. It's literally the most bait wordplay, but it just hits. And then DNA follows it up with a really nice, when you say against PH, bringing the medicine for free, only prove we're sicker than y'all. Like, nice. And then, like, he does the thesaurus battle as well, which obviously we haven't really touched on that, but the camera's broke, so there's only one camera. So if you talk about the sort of something, you'll show us you're only good for one angle, like your battle with thesaurus. That was nice as well.
Yeah,
I thought it was close here, but flips, incredible flips, going in on his something shirt. Looks like you bought Roan's wardrobe.
Oh yeah.
Really like it. And then you talk about his official YouTube being spelled Official. Was this like kind of blessing from heaven when you discovered this? Like, I can write some great shit about this.
Yeah, that is exactly what it was. I was so happy with it because, again, that's just like that's not maybe one for the room. It's one for the for the internet fans, because I knew everybody that watched that battle was going to go search that shit up and see if it was true.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how has nobody fucking told this geezer? He spelled his own YouTube wrong. Yeah. Like, how has he allowed it to happen? If he's dyslexic, maybe that's an excuse. But if he's not dyslexic, why has he been so lazy to do this? And like. And yeah, and I obviously managed to come up with a few bars from it. It's such a funny, random thing to come up with bars on, but it just fucking happened like that, man.
And like, I'm not a baseball fan, as in I just don't know about it. Same way some people wouldn't know football or cricket, whatever. This is one of those bars that you just kind of go, because it's a good bar and it makes sense in your head when you say Diamondbacks logo, D is a snake. But if you Google Arizona Diamondbacks, you'll see that their logo is a D of a snake, which is, what a bar that is. Like, that's a really clever bar. I love that bar.
Do you know what? I have no idea where that came from. I think because I'm really into that shit. Like, not actual baseball, but just like the clothing as far as the caps and shit. I'm really into it. So I think that's probably how I knew. I think I know like most teams' logos maybe, and I think I probably just somehow woke up one morning and was like, hold on a minute, that's a D, that's a snake, I've got to use. And again, especially if you're spitting the bar in America, like everybody.
Oh my god, so, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was quite happy with that one. But,
it's so weird, isn't it? The cultural disjunction where like Jay-Z can rap about baseball or basketball and no one bats an eye, but if any big UK rappers rap about football, it's seen as lame.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that is, but we have the a line that I want to mention because 24/7 apes it really well. But it's just great punch after great punch. I urge people to go back and watch this battle. It's just it's so fucking good. Like, it's such an enjoyable watch. You're known for what comes out of your mouth, not what's missing inside.
Yeah.
DNA's tooth is a fucking thing, right? So it's kind of like, it's one of those, anyone knows about DNA's tooth. It's kind of, it's insider, but not really insider. And then you mention at the end of your second, the any groupies I'm sexing, bitch will go down longer than the
YouTube connection. Yeah.
Were they streaming live then, or?
Yeah, what it was that they were. It was one of the first ever live pay-per-views. And there was a huge issue because what happened was basically the connection had gone down, and of course, if people are streaming, paying for it live, it's different if you're buying it 24 hours later, because then you have 24 hours to sort out the problem. But because they were relying on a lot of the income from the live pay-per-view, of course, you can't carry on with an event until it's fixed, because otherwise everyone's going to want a refund. Yeah. So I think on the whole, everybody was fairly understanding. I think everybody in the venue we were getting a bit annoyed that we wanted to get on with the events. I think it had gone down after like 2 battles or some shit like that. So it was a bit annoying. But yeah, I think it was the right thing to do. Like, even though it did piss some people off and it made us a bit jitsy and whatever, it's like they couldn't really, as a business, go on without. Otherwise, they would have been cheating people out of their money. And it's one of those things. I was kind of checking on Twitter, and everybody was like tweeting, when's the battle, blah blah blah, and everyone tweeted, "Fuck, the YouTube's gone down." I'm walking around the venue and everybody's talking about, the reason the event's not going on is because the YouTube. So it's one of those things where it's like, it just felt like it was something at the forefront of everybody's minds, and it was a guaranteed reaction. That was one of, I say these things, somebody you don't know. That was I know this is going to get a massive cheer because everybody here has been waiting for the connection to be fixed. So if I reference it now, it's probably one of those random bars that maybe nobody else would have even thought to reference, because it's such a almost non-event. Do you know what I mean? Like an internet connection going down is like so random.
It's such a league owner bar to me.
It's a very league. You're so right, man. It's an incredibly specific league owner kind of trying to be a responsible promoter bar to say. And so that was quite cool.
No, those kind of zeitgeisty lines, like going to get Chris Lees on the show soon, and I was watching him and Yudan versus Sistik and Bam, and there's a moment in the first round when someone's recording, and then Lees does a flip on it straight away, and it's like the biggest punch of the battle. Like it's gold dust, isn't it? That sort of shit. But it hits really, really hard. And then you're talking about people coming up to you and mentioning certain lines. Do people mention the whatever decomposes is getting broken down? That must be pretty big.
People don't, but I have heard that rehashed so many times.
I can't remember who said it. I think someone in Don't Flop said it recently.
Yeah, I think you're right. I can't remember who, but I'm talking all the major leagues. I've heard that bar rehashed.
Yeah. No, that is.
I guarantee no one will ever give me credit for it. They'll say it's cool.
Yeah.
But I think most people have probably seen me versus DNA. I think really, I think most people have seen me.
No doubt.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I hear decomposed wordplay coming, I'm like, oh, here we go. Like, what's this one gonna be like?
Ain't as gangster as he says he is. I don't believe in you. I'm a DNA theist. Is another solid fucking beat. And you must have felt job done after this. Regardless of the cannabis diz thing, which I'm sure you were there for. Do you know? They often ask bands after they come out of the studio, did you know there's going to be a huge record? Obviously it's a little different because the crowd are there, and if they reacted big. But you must have been feeling pretty good after the DNA one.
I knew from the reaction in the venue, the messages we were getting, the forums and stuff. I did definitely know that was. But as I said, I didn't know it was a million view one. I knew it was it was a high viewed battle, but not nowhere near. I know it was going to be a million, but obviously it's fucking amazing feat. For me personally, as a thing to have achieved, I'm really quite proud that it's passed them in, because that's obviously a mark that every battler wants to be able to pass.
Yeah, it's a 1.2 at the moment. 1,204,000. So it's getting there, and like you say, it is an unbelievable mark. But we'll barrel forward. We're going a long way in the future now. Was this the first? This is against John Dadan.
Mm-hmm.
You were headlining this event. Was this the first DF USA event?
Yeah, it was. That's the main reason I battled on it.
Right. And this was that when DNA and K-Shine were born as well? Was that the same event?
No, that would have been maybe the year after. Maybe I can't. No, it definitely wasn't that event though. No, I think they battled at that event. No, DNA battled Sunny Bamboo at that event, but no, it wasn't. Okay. It wasn't the birth of their team. No.
Yeah. I think he had some line about Sunny Side Up, which is very DNA-esque.
Oh yeah,
I recall. But so yeah, John. This is. I remember when this match was announced. I think you did a kind of a vlog of you just in some garden or field talking about matches.
Yeah, I remember.
And I remember you spoke about I know you're not going to believe this, but we got Gemini Big T, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Gemini Big T, that's such a good matchup, back in the day. But you versus John, I mean, on paper, great. I remember watching this. I actually remember watching this in Valparaiso, which is a small village in Chile. I remember the day it came out. I was away for Christmas, and I was waiting for it to come out. And it came out in the morning in South America, as opposed to whenever you guys release it midday or whatever. And I couldn't wait for this one. This just seemed like a really, because you've been away from the scene a while, really since DNA in terms of the international scene.
Yeah, was it? I mean, I suppose it had been a while. Yeah,
it was released the end of 2014, so it was kind of filmed maybe a little bit before, but
yeah, because I had the 2-on-2 with Pesci and Bender at the end of 2013, and then and that was my next battle. So yeah, it had been solo battle. Yeah, I suppose it had been like 2.5 years.
Yeah, and I mean, John, obviously a fucking URL titan, right? I mean, regardless of your opinions on his writing, the guy is a figure,
big name, of course. That's why I got him involved. Mm-hmm. And regardless of if he's going to battle me or someone else, of course, if you're doing an opening set for Don't Flop in Atlanta, you're going to want the biggest battler from Atlanta on the card. So yeah, just natural. Just made sense, really.
How do you look like the Kanye West bear?
And I saw an interview with you, I can't quite remember, but where you were saying you weren't that happy with the performance. But I think this is a seriously good battle, man. I have to say.
No. Do you know what? Now I think it's one of those battles I really wish I could redo, and maybe. I think it's a battle that would have been better on another league, because I wouldn't have had the stress of everything else going on. But when I took the battle, I knew obviously that was going to be something I had to factor into it. You know what I mean? And that was my decision, and so that's why you never hear me bitching about it. You know what I mean? I wanted to take that battle, so I took it. But I think even with the preparation, I think I kind of underestimated that even if I had, Sonny, Liam, Freddie, Impact, all these other people there helping me out doing this, that, I'm still going to be fucking stressing.
Yeah.
And I was, and I think it just, the other point of that is, I think there's two sides to it. It's like I was stressing all day, making sure stuff was sorted and people were there on time and shit. So I was sorting out money for MCs and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, it was kind of, John is a lot bigger in person. He's a tall motherfucker, man. He's and very loud, very in your face, and raps and shit. And then thirdly is that I stupidly, I'll never forgive myself, just even though it's in Atlanta where he lives, I for some reason didn't counter in that he's going to have a lot of people with him. Mm-hmm. So I really wasn't mentally prepared for that. I really, really wasn't at all. And I think it shows because I'm battling, and obviously I've got kind of Impact and whoever, one or two people behind me or whatever, and then it's kind of he turns up with half the city behind him, and I was just like shit. And they're of course they're everything. It doesn't really transfer to camera as much, but on the day they're really loudly reacting to everything. He said some garbage shit. I told him straight. He said some terrible shit about I had a dream last night.
Oh, don't get.
I assumed he probably had.
Holy shit! Did you see Kid Twist versus John?
No, I haven't.
Because Kid Twist.
Sorry. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, because Kid Twist does a section specifically about that Van Dam bar.
Right.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, and you can't really tell on footage, but I appreciate that was there. And I agree what you're saying as well about John being tall, because when you two are in shot together, I know you're not exactly a small guy, but god damn, he towers, doesn't he?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like fairly average height, and I think he's like 6'4", 6'5". He's really big, and I think it helps with battling, man. I was actually explaining this to somebody yesterday about the physical size is a huge advantage in battle rap for believability. Like Pat Stay is always the best example. Like Pat Stay is huge, and like it sells a huge part of his image that he is so big. John, same thing. When he's battling someone like me who's smaller, he was kind of getting all up on my body and shit. You know what I mean? Spitting bars like right behind my ear. Do you know what I mean? Like really doing it. Like, and like I said, I was handling that. I found handling that easier, but it was really the not preparing myself for his friends being there. And don't get me wrong, they showed me love after the battle. They were like, you know, you killed it. But during the battle, they were not trying to show me love at all. And the crowd, even though they've been pretty friendly and cool during the day, like they were still going to back John over me, because he probably hadn't battled in Atlanta for a while, because he wasn't doing his league back then, and there wasn't really too many events. So most of them had come out to see him. So I just feel like in that interview you're talking about, I remember it was directly after I come off stage, they interviewed me, and I just felt a bit downtrodden, because I thought, you know, I know my bars were good. Like that, I'm not at all saying that I think I was whack in that battle, because I don't think I was. I really do think, I think my writing was fine, and I think I put the same amount of effort I always do into my writing, but it was just I didn't have that delivery I wanted to have. You know what I mean? When you're going up against someone who's all about the performance and delivery, you need to have it locked down. And I spent the whole time in America writing the bars and learning them, not at all thinking about how I was going to spit them. Yeah, so that's I think that's where I went wrong. And I think it does show that it's. But you know what? Luckily, you're in the majority that most people don't seem to agree, and they seem to think it's fine. And I think maybe it's different for me because I was there and I know what it was like having him rap in my face. But yeah, I personally will never really watch that battle, because it's not a time I want to be reminded of. Because I don't give a shit if the bars were good. I look at it, I think you didn't rap them in the right way, so fuck it, just chalk it up to experience.
No, fair enough. I think your third is incredibly strong, and I really like your second as well, because you say a lot of stuff that I've wanted to say to URL. And
is that when I say the shit about the like
hood movies and shit like that? And Street Fighter and all that kind of stuff. And the amount of Boys in the Hood bars. I love Boys in the Hood, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic film, but the amount of barrels to the back like Ricky that I've heard, it's ridiculous. You know, even great battlers will just do a Boys in the Hood, I don't know. So John begins. I mean, there's a lot of flotsam and jetsam URL, bang a hammer like a judge, etc. The main thing is John lets us in on his dream. He had a dream of.
We gotta talk about
it. So John has a dream. He's like, it's crazy, but I had this dream, and he dreams of seeing all your family in a van, and he has claws.
Is it my family? This is what I'm saying.
It's a family van. I remember. He just says he sees a family van. Sorry, he doesn't see your family in a van, but I mean the same kind of connotations. So he has claws. It's mad. Just ride with it. And then the punch is. But the thing is, like, you can go through all these crazy fictions. If the punch is dope, I don't care. But it's just a terrible, like, paint by numbers punch. The way John clawed that van, damn, they thought it was a blood sport.
I don't know. I really don't know about.
How can you have the nerve to spit that punch? Like. At the end of the day, like, it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, I like the fact I remember watching Kid Twist do that bar, and it just really gratified me, because I always felt that was a weird punch by. I mean, John's John. Don't get me wrong. You know, the guy is a really exciting battler. Like, him versus Mr. Wavy is a really fun watch. He's not a bar guy, but he's a performance guy. Like you say, he's a very tall guy. He's a very charismatic guy. Bullpen, seems to be doing some good stuff here. And he does some dope flop wordplay. Your career's a baggy condom. It won't pop. Crack his apple and send him up to Steve for a job. I mean,
I'm not really.
No. It's no, it's kind of there. It's kind of there. So yeah, you flip and you go back to the dream. Only thing common with the X-Men is you got Professor X's hairstyle.
Do you know what? Right, let me tell you about that. This is again something that happens to battle. Like when you're in the moment, I don't know why, but you just like you can't. If you're trying to think of a flip, you can't get past the first idea you have. It's a problem that I have. Like, and it's like with that, it's like whenever I think of that, I just think, why didn't I say like you've got the same hair? Because same hair is so much easier to rhyme than hairstyle. But do you know what I mean? So it's like it's just so weird because hairstyle, I don't even use the term hairstyle, but for some reason it's like I had got the flip in my mind, and I was as soon as I thought hairstyle, all I could think was how can I rhyme this. So I say bare word or whatever. And it's all right. But then the second I spat it, I was just like, why didn't I just say, Mayfair, daycare, same hair? It's just like, it would have been so much easier and it would have flowed so much better as a bar. And that's yet another reason why that battle pissed me off, because I always think of that and it's just like, oh, fuck. So, but it was an all right flip. It was an okay flip. I wish I'd worded it better.
Yeah, it was a good flip, and but you explain, you say literally the second after you say that, you say because he's bold, and then against 24/7 when you did the whole, your family's incestual, your sister's his uncle, you say, oh, it's because of different genders. Like it's kind of a weird habit you have where you kind of have to clarify to the crowd, and it kind of almost nullifies the punch. Like.
Do you know what? I get your point, but I honestly think the way that I do it, it adds weight to it. Every time I do it, it gets a laugh. And if it didn't get a laugh, I'd shut the fuck up, basically. But it's like, but I do it, and it's like it just fucking works. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it works. Like, and but to be honest with you, I don't do it deliberately. Like I honestly. I can honestly say I don't do it deliberately. It's just something that naturally comes out when I'm battling, because I'm in this kind of weird, like, cheeky kind of mood. Yeah. I just for some reason fucking just say that bollocks. Like, because you got the same hair. I literally cannot help myself saying it.
The first round is strong. The second and third, they have the power. I love how you're so petty. You talk about you hate America so much that you bought a new wallet so the money wouldn't touch. I was like, God damn.
So stupid. Absolutely ridiculous.
But what I do like is, obviously, it's not just versus John. It's John versus the owner of this league, and you talk about paying him. And that's kind of a paradigm that you go through. I'll only give you 20%.
I don't want to pay.
You spit a British joke that's unrehearsed or unresearched.
I better get my money. I better get my money's worth.
Yeah. I mean, really good. A lot of Atlanta kind of stuff. No one in the A thinks you're the answer. You got to be in their bottom three. Kind of going on this multiple choice. Kind of element there. And then John, he has a defense against the common complaint volleyed at him, which obviously is that he kind of steals bars. He says that if you say I'm stealing, you're the hypocrite, which I guess kind of works, but the logic of that's not quite sound for me, but it gets a good reaction.
Yeah, I suppose I do get I get it. I get what he's trying to say. I suppose I think it does kind of work. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's all right.
And he performs well. There's absolutely no denying he's not exactly my go-to guy. If I'm going to watch, I couldn't just watch John battles over and over. But when I see him, it's kind of he has a theatricality that I can definitely respect. He definitely has a way of getting bars across. This 40 respect your elders. The same way you had that 50 bar about Eurgh Gotti. There's no way that bar wasn't going to hit heavy.
Yeah, you see this 40 get out of the way. Yeah. It's pretty sick bar. It's funny because he's younger than me, but I mean, it does work.
Is he? Oh, I thought he was a bit older.
No, he's younger than me, man.
All right. And again, kind of, I like to think that I get most of the references in battling, but I had to look this one up. The whole putting London on a track. Apparently, London's like a Atlanta producer. That's a pretty good bar, actually. I like that bar.
Yeah, London on a Track. Yeah. It's like one of those, those intros you hear in a lot of hip hop.
Right, like young chap.
It's just one of those, but it's just London on a Track.
And then as we said before, the Kanye West line is huge in your second. And again, I love the fact that he has a face of Obama, but the hair of Coach Carter is quite a good throwaway as well. And
do you know what? Honestly, that was just a fucking multi that I had. It was just a funny multi that I had that I thought was jokes, and I was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just going to use this. Like, I'm never going to use it for any other kind of track. Do you know what I mean? So I just thought, fuck it, I'll just throw it in this one.
And then the whole, he went to the jail for stealing a whip sort of stuff. He didn't snitch. He said, officer, I wasn't stealing it. I was just remixing it.
I was remixing it.
That's a crazy line.
See, but that bar, I think that bar I probably delivered in the right way. Like, and I think some of the deliveries, were delivered in the right way. And I wouldn't put myself down for every single bit, but I think that bar, the remix in it, like I had that same, that cheeky kind of, whatever you want to call it, like that cheeky style. But I think, to be honest with you, that was one of the only times in that battle I think I did deliver the bars the way I personally wanted to deliver them. Yeah,
it's kind of like, you can definitely imagine, I don't know, Sue Surf doing that on a Summer Madness against John, and that getting, you know what I mean, that being the bar of the the battle. Like that is such a good, like, I mean, especially if you're kind of more familiar, I suppose, with the whole remix element to it. But I mean, killing it. And John's probably goes more personal on his third. It's quite like, again, you had the image of Reverse Live eating the meat. I really like the image of DNA starving in a hotel room and being so hungry that he's punching walls. Like, it's just kind of
like, and then it's quite funny that it cuts the DNA.
It does.
Yeah, it's quite funny. I spoke to DNA outside, and I was just like, why did you say that to him? And he was like, I didn't say that to him. And I was like, because I went up to him, I was just like, why the fuck are you chatting shit to John? He was like adamant that it wasn't him, and he said it must have been someone else there that kind of twisted the story. And fuck knows, to be honest.
I mean, like you say, can't starve people like that, especially if they were teething.
That was pretty funny.
That was funny. I
thought that was pretty. If all his bars had been like that, I think it would have been a much closer battle. Unfortunately, but I thought that was nice, definitely.
And then in the third, the third is fucking ridiculous. The whole, you had the great flip initially because John spent the end of his third talking about daylight and what happened. You're basically like, if someone's packing 9 balaclavas on an international flight, and like, you can almost feel everyone in the crowd being like, well, there's no way around that. Like, that is quite ridiculous. And then a common thing, a lot of King of Dot battlers do this as well when they're going against URL. They'll go in on the the title screen when it has like their performance, lyrical, like all that kind of shit. Once I dress bars, I'll put the whole URL in a box. That's like a perfect bar.
Yeah, and again, I feel like that might be another one of those bars that just could have gone off better in a different environment.
John clearly thinks it's fire as fuck, like.
Right. I can't remember, to be honest, but I think it was nice. But that may be the kind of bar that if you said it on URL, people would be like, oh shit, that's fire. Do you know what I mean? But maybe don't care as much, don't care as much if it's said on another league about URL. But I feel like, and I think I thought that at the time. I think I thought like, maybe I should save this punchline for if I ever go on URL. And I was thinking, to be honest, it's highly unlikely I'm going to do a random PG battle on URL. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just use it in this because it's still applicable to him. Because as you said, I'm still dissing him for like the entry screen and the whatever. And
it was. And you on URL for a PG. Fucking hell.
Yo,
that'd be amazing.
We've spoke about it. We definitely have. We've talked about it a few times actually, like over the years, and they obviously know about Don't Flop and know what I do. So I probably could do it in theory. I probably could make it happen, and maybe one day I will. But do you know what? I'll be honest with you. The reason the thing that puts me off is I don't want to do a fucking battle and it doesn't get released. Like, you know, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I've put in so much work in this scene. I don't want to, you know, to be quite honest, maybe I think it's a pride thing. Like, I don't want to put in months and months of writing for a battle, because I'm not going to be like a lot of these other tryout guys, just spitting a load of gun bars, and if it don't get uploaded, it doesn't matter, they can do it again. Like, if whoever I battle, like, yo, I'm going in on you. So I think that's probably what puts me off doing it. If they could say, you know, you can just do a battle on URL and it will get uploaded, then yeah, maybe I would do it. But I think the idea of doing a PG and just wasting months of my time and it getting vaulted because, you know, they want to release some more street battle, it would really piss me off, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, just off the top of my head, people like Bullets, Roan as well. You know, they just never got released, have they? But maybe if you do like a one-off, which is kind of like they kind of release those a bit more than just kind of PGs can be swept under the carpet. But I appreciate maybe it's a pipe dream, but fuck, man, that'd be dope.
I think I honestly, I will definitely look into it. Like when I've got more like energy to battle and shit, I will definitely look into it more.
I remember when the first episode of the show, so quite a while ago, I had Shocks on, and he was saying that him and Nor was talking about him versus Chess, and I'm like, that fucking needs to go down, man. Like,
for sure.
Jesus Christ. Like, I mean, Shocks kind of has a PG sort of with Gizmo, but it's not kind of official. So again, wrapping up this John thing, talking about kind of his long-winded nature. They only care about the 8th bar, like you're selling us weed, only care about the 8th. And then you have
that was all right.
That was nice. Right. Then you have a weird bar, which I remember watching this. Weird bar. I remember watching this when I was away on holiday, and this was the bar that really stood out for me. And I remember watching it on my iPhone and kind of looking to the left as if, why has he said this? This is a weird bar. Like, I like this bar because I'm sure you wouldn't have said it otherwise unless you're a big fan of Sopranos. You know, obviously.
Oh, what did I say?
You said, find the body of AJ in a meadow, like incest in The Sopranos. That was very, very random. Very random.
Very random.
I mean, yeah, big up AJ and Meadow. It's just kind of like, if you've watched the show, they're great characters. You don't kind of want to imagine them like that, but then you continue it. Then you continue your you know, your David Chase ting, where just a junior Don guessed that you're Corrado.
Yeah, and do you know what it was? Is that I just clocked that rhymed on the same scheme, and I was like, that's kind of hard, bro. I was just like, do you know what I mean? I was just like, yeah, that's kind of sick. Like, fuck it, like I'm going in.
That's a shame. Like, I wish to a certain extent that it wasn't hood movies, but it was The Wire and Sopranos that were kind of the cliches. You know what I mean? Like, so we could really get through it. But I mean, regardless, you clown him on that really annoying URL thing they do, and I kind of call it the Cortez mode, but a lot of other people do it. You know, when they kind of point out the words, that Chilla does it as well, that are in the, you know,
I don't need you to do that. Like,
it's like, we've watched enough battles to know what you're doing. Like, it's not, and then the whole the close is insane. All your boys here may say you won from the word play, but all your viewers online say I won from the word play.
Yeah.
That's just that's something you dream of writing, isn't it? It's just so there, but so simple.
And I suppose that's me. I suppose that's what I try to do every battle, is just like, it's just throw in some shit. Like, I try to just like throw in some shit that is not maybe as clever as everything else I'm trying to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I do obviously throw in some big punchlines or whatever, and I think by that point I'm like, all right, cool, like I've done my like thing of, you know, trying to be, oh, look how clever I am, and I'm like, wordplay, fuck it, do you know what, like that's a nice simple one, maybe break up the more clever shit and then you know, kind of then get back to it, but use that as a little breaking point in the middle.
No, that is a I love that line, and I mean, this was a great precedent, wasn't it? Really, it's the first DFUS event. You've gone back many times since, sort of killing it over there, and you guys going to be over there in the future?
Yeah, but probably won't be till 2017.
Right. So yeah, we get onto the final battle, Blackout 5. This was King of the Dart and the Blackout event. If anyone's not aware, it's quite cool actually. It's kind of the mystery event. So they announce all the battlers, but never announce the matchups until the actual day itself. And I have to say that this was the event. This was the OVO event. Drake was kind of bankrolling it, so it had like an incredible roster of battlers on there. And it's fair to say that when your name came up, there was a lot of surprise, wasn't there? There'd been a bit of
Yeah, definitely a lot of surprise because of, I suppose people don't know behind closed doors what goes on. Do you know what I mean? If there's a beef one time, they're gonna, who knows, man? Maybe they assume that beef is always going to be there. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it was. And I suppose there was some kind of beef. So I think that's half the reason they invited me, man. I think I don't even know how the conversation even started, to be honest. We just been talking for a while, and then like somehow I suppose Blackout was like coming up maybe, and it probably just started as a joke. Do you know what I mean? Like it was probably just like kind of like, do you know, it'd be hilarious if I came out to Blackout, and the more we talked about it was like, oh shit, like this, maybe we should do this. and then it turns out they spoke 24/7, and we're just like 24 was like the only person I want to come back and battle. Like, I have no idea why. I knew it wasn't a beef thing. I just knew he wanted to just fucking battle.
Right.
And he'd said that he really wasn't keen on battling, but he's definitely down to come back and battle me if they could sort it out. And me, again, it goes to the ego thing. Like as soon as I got told that, I was like, what, the only person this guy wants to battle is me? I was like, all right, cool, and fuck it. Like we'd already been joking about the Blackout thing. I just said to him, all right, cool, if he confirms it, I'm down for it. Let's do it.
Your girl's family don't like you. They tolerate you as different. You pay rent. The only reason you're staying is business. The fact no family photos feature your face is deliberate. He's called Cam. It's only right they make him take all the pictures.
Did you see Drake there? Was he there?
Yeah. Didn't chop it up with him exactly, but yeah, he was there, man. Saw him at the not at the actual event. I think he was at some kind of like higher kind of raised balcony at the event or something. But yeah, he was at the press conference. I saw his speech at the press conference when he was talking about Murder Mook and shit like that. But yeah, no, he was definitely there supporting.
Yeah, and he's I mean, regardless of, I quite like Drake, but I know a lot of people are kind of like, whatever, he is one of the biggest musical stars in the world right now.
Yeah, of course,
and the fact that he's shining a positive light on battle rap is incredible. Like, and not many people will sort of know that about Drake, I suppose, that he's a King of the Dot guy, but it's so good. I have such respect for him for doing that.
Yeah, man, of course.
And didn't he tweet you guys or something? I think you retweeted something. I remember seeing something he'd said, like, I need to come out to Don't Flop. I mean, I know he just say that, whatever, but champagne puppy, right?
Need to get out to an event. That's what he said. Man. Anytime you want, man.
Yeah. We got a Training Days event next month, man. We'd love to see that. So this is a crazy card as well. Blackout 5. One of the things that just was interesting in from a kind of event perspective, what are you seeing? Because we never see the crowd. What does it look like as you're looking out? It's hard to appreciate.
That's a good question, man. Do you know what? Not too much. It's very dark. The venue was very, very dark. It was like, the easiest way to describe it was like a cinema style seating.
Oh, okay.
It was like cinema style raised seating with a theatre style stage.
And it's weird as well because, I mean, so let's compare this to something like, I don't know, Fifth Birthday, for example, where you have everyone on stage, VIPs, battlers, whatever, cameraman, etc. But this kind of has a similar aspect, whereas loads of people on stage, if you look through the stage, you'll see loads of battlers there that you recognise. But it seems like you only fill half the stage, whereas the kind of left and right is just empty. Like, it kind of has this weird, slightly not quite full vibe to it. Like,
I think. Well, it wasn't. it certainly wasn't as full as I think everybody's expecting.
Yeah.
I think one of the main reasons for that was there was a huge snowstorm. Really big snowstorms. I think anybody that was like hadn't got an advance ticket but would have considered coming, they were just like, nah, fuck this, I can't bother. Which I think, it happened. It's just like standard clubbing, in it. Do you know what I mean? If it rains, people don't go out to the club. If it snows, they don't go to Battle Rap Arena. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, and also I don't know. Maybe it was the price. I can't really remember. Maybe it was too much. Maybe it was the concept of people not knowing who was going to battle who. They didn't like it. I mean, I'm sure there was many things, man. But it wasn't. It wasn't as packed as I thought. But do you know what? It was exactly the same as the cannabis situation, man. Like I was like. I just kind of really just prepped myself mentally to be battling in front of like a huge amount of people, and then it was a good turnout. Definitely more people there than cannabis in LA, but still wasn't as many people as I thought. So by the time we turned up there, same thing. I walked out on stage and was like, I'm cool. Like I'm chilling right now, man. I'm ready to do this battle. And the second I stepped on into the actual battle, into the ring, and it was me and 24/7, I was completely fine, like absolutely cool.
Yeah, and this is again, I don't want to seem like an arse slicker, but is this the best battle of Blackout 5? Quite possibly. I mean, if you want to go for the populist vote, obviously you're going to say Conceited, Dumbfounded, which is a fun battle. I mean, it is kind of like sort of short Asian jokes, back and forth. And this is the sort of thing you like. I mean, J Pro Saurus for Saurus is good. Kid Twist Shuffle, the first round's good. Bishop Arsenal's one of those like what the fuck matches.
Yeah, that was very, very random.
Right? Really? What the hell? But I think if I'm being objective, this is probably my favourite in the sense that both of you had really, really good rounds. Terrific freestyle introduction in your first here, clowning on his dumb shit clothes. I must diss those. You actually come dressed as Eminem in 8 Mile when he's gazing out the bus window. Like, he does, though. He's rocking that old school skelly cap. He's kind of asking for it.
Let me tell you, bro. Let me break this down for you. This is a great inside story for anybody that's listened this long, right? So we were in the diner opposite the hotel the morning about me, Shotty, Shuffle, Marlo, Budstro, Soul, a couple other people maybe, all sitting around the diner. I think maybe Pat Stay, Serious Jones were there as well, a few. And we were all chilling, and so I said, I know up to this point I hadn't seen 24/7, and 24/7 comes walking in the clothes that he was wearing in the battle, right? Because it was that morning, and he was obviously already ready to battle and shit. And it was just so funny because he walked through the diner and sat by himself, like facing the window, and it just looked like a scene from 8 Mile, and we all started laughing, and I can't remember, someone at the table started going like dun 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 dun, because he was so in the fucking zone, and he was dressed the way he was dressed, and he was sitting there eating his breakfast by himself. It looked like a deleted scene, and we were in fucking stitches. Okay? And it's like he knew we were laughing at him because it was like before he walked in, we were just chatting normally. He walked in and we all burst out laughing at the same time, and it was just so it was this weird kind of vibe. This very small diner, like honestly about like eight tables or something in there, and then I don't see him till the battle, and then I kind of forgot about it, and then I looked at his clothes when I stepped on stage and was like, oh my god, he's still wearing them same clothes from like 6 hours ago this morning or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, I've got, and especially because it's me as well, people have, people get used to me freestyling, do you know what I mean? Like, it's something they really expect of me in a battle. So I just thought, I need to give them what they want. And I started with a couple of freestyles. They weren't the strongest bars ever, but I thought if I start with freestyling, I'm starting kind of as I mean to continue, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, you say they aren't the strongest bars. I think they really hit. They hit. But you know why I think they hit? Because they're freestyle. I don't think they hit for any other reason apart from the crowd will always love it if you freestyle. You've experienced this yourself. Is it as true as they say? Is the King of the Dot crowd just a bit lame?
Do you know what? I can't really say that, but the Don't Flop crowd is most definitely. But I don't know, man. It's very weird because you see them going on about how the Toronto crowd is the best, the Toronto crowd. But you know what? It isn't. If we're being honest, the Don't Flop crowd will always be the best. Like, yeah, the 7BW crowd was a bit dead, but as a whole, like, yeah, the Toronto crowd, I don't know. They show love, and they all. They all know all of the battlers, and they're definitely battle fans in the same way Don't Flop fans are not just fans of Don't Flop. Do you know what I'm saying? They're fans of the whole culture. I'll give them that, but I think they're just a bit quiet. But in the defense, I said it was a really shit day, and everyone was a bit just like tired and cold, and like it wasn't the vibe they were going for with that event. Do you know what I mean? So like it wasn't the same, but I think like it was. I still felt like we warmed them up a bit. I think we were battle number 2 of day 1, and that's what I got a shout out King of the Dot for that, because I was like, please put me on as early as possible day 1. I said I was like, not battle number 1, because no one wants to go first. No. But I was just like, if you can put me on 2nd or 3rd battle day number 1, because I'm telling you, as a battler's point of view, on a weekend event, that is the spot everybody wants. It's like battle number 3, day 1, because the crowd's warmed up, and then you bang your battle out, everybody loves you, and then you fucking get drunk. And they gave me 2nd battle day 1, so I was absolutely buzzing. And was just like, oh my god, thank you so much. Like, it was up like fucking practicing from like 7 o'clock in the morning, and the battle wasn't until something like 9 p.m. So it was ridiculous. Like, yes, no exaggeration. It's that that long.
Wow.
And so I think that's what I'm saying. But with all that kind of put into it and the timing of the event and stuff, I think the crowd definitely could have been a bit lively for an event of that magnitude that had, as you said, the conceited, dumbfounded, Head Ice, Serious Joe, all these names. Like all I can say is if that card was in Don't Flop, the crowd would have been twice as big, and they would have been really fucking lively. Do you know what I mean? But I think they gave me reaction. I think they could have given me a bit more reaction, but my bars that deserve big reactions got big reactions. Do you know what I mean? They maybe slept on a couple of eyes, but the big heavy hitters they showed mad fucking love for.
No, I agree. Actually, yeah, the crowd are good for this. They just feel, from a sort of sonic perspective, they feel quite far away.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, they were. Yeah. They physically were quite far away.
And you're a specialist, as we've said throughout this podcast. You know what to do. You own the stage in a hostile environment. I love the fucking more like Bang Bros with Jenna Hayes, because when I say suck my dick, I'm still getting paid. Like, you're exploiting that raw nerve with just such abandon. It's great.
I just felt like I had a fucking point to prove with that bar. Just basically doing exactly that. But I'm basically saying that I've gone on stage and said suck my dick. I've then come back to the league. and then reference that whilst being paid to perform again. The whole thing is just fucking stupid. I was just doing it to be cheeky, and it got exactly.
I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was.
Know what I mean? It was very much saying like, I'm probably getting more money than you, and I've been very disrespectful. And it's like, fuck it. But that's what battling's about, man. It's about being fucking disrespectful, man.
Exactly. I mean, because you bring up the whole racism on bad bars. We were filming it for public release, and you knew. He's just like, we thought it'd be smoother with those bits out, bruv. It's YouTube, not fucking fruit juice.
Yeah, but do you know what, man? Like, that bar got a lot of hate. People weren't feeling that, but I thought that was pretty decent, man.
I mean, you can tell why people wouldn't like it, but I do like it. But I guess it's sort of, but yeah, it's good.
I know what you mean. It's like it's one of those. Do you know what it is? Yes, I suppose it's doing something that I often don't actually like in battles. Is it's kind of referencing something very unrelated to anybody. Like the concept of fruit juice as a thing is not really related to any battler, if you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of like a very abstract concept. But I remember thinking at the bar, being like, okay, so I need some kind of punchline about taking the bits out. And to me, when I say bits out, the first thing I think of is orange juice. Yeah. So I was just like, can I use that as a bar? And then when I realised that fruit juice rhymes with YouTube, I was like, I actually think this is quite a good bar. But again, it's one of the ones when I spat it, I knew it wasn't going to go crazy. I knew it was more like, this might get some hate. No one's going to call it whack, but everyone's going to be like, oh, I don't know about that bar. They responded exactly how I thought they were going to respond.
Yeah, and the aggression as well. Like, you really, I mean, dare I say PG step? Like, you kind of like, black eye on this white boy, tinting cam, like filters on Instagram. It's like, Jesus, like, I've never seen you so angry. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? And honestly, I can tell you that is a fucking...
genuine emotion?
I wouldn't say genuine emotion. I would say... I wouldn't say genuine emotion. I'd say it's more a direct effect of my feelings on the John battle. That's what I'd say. It was, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it was of everything that I said to battlerapp.com after, about everything we've talked about. It was you know, there is no other reason. It's not like I stepped on the stage and thought, oh, I fancy performing well today. It was that I thought to myself, all right, I'm battling at the biggest event of the year. You know, it's quite cool that I'm out here anyway, and that I really need to make a fucking impact right now. And I'm glad that it shows, because everybody who watches that battle, you know, brings up the fact that my delivery was a lot better.
Delivery's insane. And
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you noticing that, because you know, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be told that. You know, I would be lying if I said I didn't. Like, I wanted to do that battle and be told, you know, 2 years down the line, oh, your fucking delivery was sick in that battle. Like,
the whole buckles under pressure, 24/7 pound shit in the first is crazy. The Gucci line is great as well. You know, 24/7, not someone that I was overtly familiar with coming into this battle.
Right.
Just I realised, like, he does have a big precedent, and you know, battled Soul, right? He came over Stonefloor.
Yeah, he did. He did. He came over Soul.
Yeah, because I'm like a huge Soul fan. And I do remember watching that years ago and not really remembering it, but and you know, he talks about you're an angry Nas fan, rambling about the lost tapes, which is quite nice.
Do you know what? I disagree. Everybody shows that by a lot of love. I personally don't like that line.
Because is it because why would an angry? You wouldn't be angry, would you?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. What it is, it's not, again, it's not a whack bar. Yeah, it's not whack, but it's like, to me, it's like, but how many angry Nas fans are there? Like, is the Lost Tapes considered a whack album? Like, I thought it was considered quite a good album. Maybe I'm really fucking off the mark, but I thought, that's when I heard it, I was thinking, yeah, but it's not the same as, like, you know, picking like some really terrible, I don't know, Cypress Hill album or something that everybody hates. It's like the Lost Tapes is like quite a kind of revered project.
Yeah, no, huge.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the reason. Like, I think the wordplay works, but I think it's just, I think he should have said something else apart from angry. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it should have been angry. He should have said something about, like, Lost Tapes. And the link to Nas really works, but I think he could have done it a lot cleaner.
No, I agree. I think he's I do see what you mean. I think he's not. I think, angry's the wrong word. He's kind of saying that there's this sort of fans feel you should listen to this thing rather than they're angry at it, and like, you know, like, you're raving about this thing that no one's seen but should see, and like, you know,
that makes. I've never seen that. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, but I agree. Angry is the wrong word. Olympic kayak team. I know how to keep rowing in line.
Great bar.
Amazing bar. Great bar. Love that bar. Yeah, absolutely. I think he delivers it perfectly.
Do you know what? Exactly the same concept as the DNA rap Blacker. Just a great bar, because it's just like, okay, it's very obvious. Everybody knows my name is Rowan. I mean, my fucking email is rowan@don'tfuck.com, not you know, that's my name. I don't, to be quite honest, outside of a battle, I don't really want to be known as her. So it's kind of like, it's fairly common knowledge in the scene that Rowan's my name. So it's like, it's, again, from the start, it's been rinsed. There's been some terrible ones. They usually reference rowing, but, you know, I'm thinking, do you know what? And I you know, you see my reaction to that bar on the day. I liked it because I'm like, okay, you've added something onto that to make it real. You know, and that perfect. It's funny. It actually relates to what we just spoke about with the Nas thing, because the Nas thing, you're doing a simile, but it's not really relating to something that exists. As we said, like, an angry Nas fan, I'm sure around the world there's a couple, but I mean, it's not a thing. Whereas the reason the Rowan in Lion Bar worked is because, like, obviously a kayaking team, you haven't made that up. Like, a kayaking team is a thing that exists in the real world. So Olympic kayaking team, I know how to keep rowing, and I was like, okay, that's actually a fucking good bar. And that's why I laugh, because I'm like, yeah, that's fucking decent. Like, you've actually used my name, and finally someone's done it after, like, what, 8-9 years, someone's flipped it in a clever way.
Yeah. I think PH says that rowan is a Norse word for a tree, and I'm like, it's just a tree, PH. You don't have to go with the Norse route.
Personally, I'm not that embarrassed if my name means tree.
No. The whole... so, okay, talk me through the chemical reaction in your head. He says the...
Fuck, we're getting deep now.
No, but I'm just like, I'm fascinated by...
reaction in my head.
So the dopamine goes through the, So I mean, like, obviously you go kayaking, you just your flip. None of your bars are leaving them in or... I mean, crazy shit. Like, just it's one thing for it's just a good flip, but just to kind of AWE, OAR, they're not like obvious homonyms. Like, it's
no. Do you know what it is? It's just that I suppose it just depends on how your brain works, and my brain, that is just, I'm a very visual person, very, very visual. I think that's why I'm able to freestyle, because that is how I freestyle, by imagining what I'm talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's probably the best example of it. That he says kayaking. Now, I'm not saying I've got some special brain. I picture someone kayaking when I hear the word kayaking. It's obviously like everybody there pictures someone kayaking. But it's like, I'm not thinking of the word, kayaking means boating, what can I say, boating, and it's like in my head I'm fully vividly picturing someone kayaking, and I honestly clocked that bar within, I'd say, a second. It was just like, I pictured someone kayaking, I pictured it all, I was like, cool, or done, that's the bar straight away. And it was like, the funny thing is, I didn't know where I was going with it. It was just, I knew it got such a good reaction, I had to flip it, whether it was I flipped the rowing part or I flipped the water part. Do you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, and it just comes to me. It came to me so fast, and I just kind of thought of some quick filler line to think of it, and this was like bang, just went from there. And again, because it was freestyling, it doesn't have to be the strongest bar ever. People appreciate the fact that it was off the top of the head.
Yeah, it kills it. I mean, it's surprising. It's just kind of an interesting take on the whole thing that everyone can get on board.
I get you, and I appreciate you, the recognition of that, because I definitely understand what you mean, that it's not maybe the way everyone wants to go, but you know what? That's how I want to be as a battle rapper. I don't want to be known as any URL gun bar rapper. I want to be known as somebody that maybe pushes the boundaries freestyling and has the ability to flip that in maybe like a backward way. You know what I mean? That's that as a battle rapper is all I've ever wanted to be. And whenever I decide to quit this shit, I hope it's those kind of moments people remember that I took a flip and I flipped it back in a way that got a bigger reaction. And if I just said, "Oh, well, you're talking about kayaking, well, you're wet," you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I hope
fuck kayaking, bruv.
Exactly, fuck kayaking, it's gay.
No, I mean, I'm no expert on freestyle stuff, but that's definitely one of the ones that I think about. And one of the ones that happened to you, I don't know if you remember this, because we're going deep now, I'm going way back, when you battled Zeely and Phranchyze. You had a line about Zeely's top looking like an oil slick or something like that, and he had this flip about you being like a Saudi oil dealer, because all your lines are filler. Like it was like a 2-part, so there's a few flips that kind of stick out.
I know what you're talking about. That's not bad. That's not bad.
No, it's really good, and he kind of gets slept on a little bit, but as I said, those were a dope team. I'd love to get Zeely and Phranchyze on the podcast sometime. Maybe we can work that out and discuss that. But
if you can fucking pull them back from Narnia and find them, I'm sure they're down.
I've looked on Facebook; they're not there. I can't. I've searched Zeely in so many incarnations. And you talk about in a second him, Florida, his backyard looking like the Ewok planet.
Yeah, that went off. I was really proud.
Talking that Endor shit. And then, him moving in with his girlfriend's family. I love the whole section of his personality, his racist personality seeping into the way he prepares food. So I make egg whites. I use my inflated sense of self-worth to make the bread wise. I'm a bitter motherfucker, so I squeezed a fresh lime. Like, it's just,
But again, I'll tell you what, man, like, every single battle I have, I say shit that I think is going to pop, and it doesn't. That's an example of it. Like, me, to me, when I wrote that, I thought that was really clever, and I thought this would get a great reaction because people would appreciate it. In just the same way we said about the Illmac 4 element shit, I thought this is like a really like new way to say what I'm trying to say, and I was convinced it was going to go off, and it really didn't get that much reaction because I'm not sure people. Do you know what it is? I think people just didn't give a fuck about the angle as much as I thought, because I thought it was a really funny angle, but I think the whole idea of someone you know what, maybe in like North America kind of, maybe it's just more normal, I don't know, maybe that's a thing people do, they like move in with their girl's family. Me personally, like, that ain't really something I'm trying to do, so so I suppose that's where the angle came from. But yeah, you can see when you watch it, like I'm spitting it, and no, to be honest, no one cares. Like, it's the only section of the battle I felt like no one cares what I'm talking about. Every other part, I think I've got to beat out the palm of my hand.
Yeah, what about the mark out 24 every week? Like, it's my lucky number on the lotto.
Well, thanks for reminding me. I appreciate that.
I remember seeing that and being like, that's a weird bar. Like, did people do lotto in 2015?
Yeah, but is that an actual question or a rhetorical question? Because as far as I'm concerned, like, okay, that's different. I didn't expect to get some fucking massive pop for that. Right. But to me, does that not make sense as a bar? Like, I'll mark out, because again, that's referencing like everybody, has the thing, they got their lucky numbers if they play the same fucking number. Is that not a thing? I'll mark out 24, 7 every week. Like, I'm playing numbers. I mean, it didn't really go off, but to be honest with you, I've never really understood why people didn't like that bar, because I thought it made sense, but clearly no one cares.
It does make sense. I don't know, it's just a cultural shift, and maybe because you have state lotteries, don't you, overseas and stuff. It's not kind of like the lotto, like, the draw on Saturday night. I don't know, whatever. There's lotteries around the world, but and then he did 24/7 does really well. Flips the whole British swag, like headlights. Black people don't get it. Is just kind of
amazing,
crazy. You get that mook fist bump. You've done well.
Yeah, and I flipped it back.
That
proud of.
And then he switches up the whole DNA. Your reputation is very different to mine. I'm known for what's coming out of my mouth, not for what someone else is spitting inside. Like, you crack up at that. That is
that was pretty funny. I told you, bro. I've had every battle I do, I had some garbage said to me. So if someone to say some good shit to me, man, I'll always laugh. I don't matter how much I dislike you, bro. If you say some fire shit, I'm always gonna laugh.
And you have in your third, you have the circa, I was a sort of young youth teenager in the early 2000s scheme, where you do like your sort of emo scheme, like me and your girl Linkin Parks.
Bro, do you know what? That scheme has no relevance to anything, but people fucking love it. Like, I'm telling you, because if you watch my battles as it seems like you have, like, I'm not a schemer because it ain't me. It goes about it. Sorry, scheming goes against everything I've spoken about in this interview. Like, I'm not about finding as many different ways to say something because it's not punchy, and I do not have any explanation of why I did that scheme. I don't know what I honestly think I just like thought of like Linkin Parks and Linkin Parks. I think I might have just had a punchline like, me and your girl are going to Linkin Parks like a rock band or something. Do you know what I mean? And that's not a really very good bar. But I suppose from there I just took it and thought, I'm just completely guessing what was going through my head, but I reckon I probably just thought, this is a North American battle. They fucking love that scheme and shit over there. I'm just going to turn this into a scheme, banged out a scheme, and it got so much love.
Yeah.
And it's got fuck all to do with him.
Well, I mean, you call him a pretentious emo wanker at the start of the round, so I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But that's quite like a tenuous kind of thing. It's kind of like, oh, you're an emo wanker, so let me name out some rock bands.
Yeah. You've got some newfound glory from this.
But look, bro. To be honest, I said this, man. If you can sell the shit, you can sell the shit. And I sold that bar, and I made people believe some bullshit about Lincoln is Bird and newfound glory. I don't listen to any of those bands. I couldn't name you one song from those bands. I just, as you said, I was a teen around the same time as you. I remember seeing those bars on bands on fucking LimeWire and Kazaa. Do you know what I mean? So
on people's hoodies.
Yeah, exactly. Bro, Norwich back of the market, Norwich market. Hoodies. That's how I know that shit from.
Exactly.
I used to have a friend when I was in high school whose nickname was Linkin Park. So I know.
Well, that was his nickname.
Yeah, fucking random in a Linkin Park.
Fair enough.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going back, I was like young as fuck. But it's just like, so yeah. I don't know. I remember thinking, why am I putting this scheme in? Because I just thought everyone was going to be like, doesn't scheme. Why is he suddenly trying to change his style?
And what's he talking about? Pop punk?
And everybody was like, nah, that punk scheme was hard, bro. And I was like, maybe I should do this shit more.
You kind of named all the big bands in one go, though, unfortunately. So
yeah, true.
41, Blink-182, and then Django and Chain Bar is fucking hard, man. That's probably my I've got a P Diddy kind of bar. That bar. Yeah. I think. Do you know what this has made me realize? Just talking about these battles. I think every battle I aim to have like a bar that you can take away from it. I think I've only just realized that now. I think I've always approached the battle like there needs to be a punchline that I will get mad credit for. I think that was probably the one for that. I probably didn't get the biggest reaction, but it got enough of a reaction for people to be like, wow. And I think it got probably more love on YouTube. But do you know what? Again, it had nothing to do with him. I was like, this punchline makes so much sense, back to front and front to back. Fuck it, I'm just throwing it in for bands. I don't even use that term, but that is the best way to describe it. I just literally just threw it in for band. And then we have 24/7's kind of celebrated third.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's interesting, isn't it? Because you kind of play the blasé angle as he does, kind of like, I'm a teacher, you've gone on with your life. But he has this kind of, there's a self-congratulatory way that he talks about getting emails from fans fighting addiction. It's always bothered me. It's always a little kind of Bon Jovi-esque. I don't know. It doesn't quite sit right with me.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's never really sat right with me either. But you'll never ever see me bitching about shit online because it's just not really my style, man. You'll never see me replying to people's fucking Facebook and YouTube comments like, oh no, that round was garbage. But if I'm honest, I've never seen the appeal. I prefer his other rounds in the battle because I think they were more about me. And I think it's funny because some people absolutely love that round. They fucking love that round. But I don't know, me personally, I don't know, man. I don't see what the point of the round is, and I never have done. And it pisses me off that I went first, because if he'd have gone first and spat that first and I still had a third, I would have just freestyled a shitload of my third about it and kind of be just saying I don't get what is wrong with what you're saying I do. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
But online, everybody was like, yo, killed the first two, but 24/7 got him in that third. And I'm like, really? Is that really what you lot think happened? Because that is not how I see it at all.
No. I mean, it's just so annoying, isn't it? You don't judge a film on its scenes. You judge the whole film. And just because this one round may have taken anything. But the point of it is, if you're watching this battle, you're enjoying battle rap, and if you're enjoying battle rap, you have to appreciate there has to be people who work full time in this scene to make it what it is. So it's why you're cheering for one thing, but the very fact that 24/7 could do this on stage, he needs people like an organic. It's just the ironies of it.
Honestly, that's exactly how I felt. I just kind of thought, you're dissing somebody who isn't enabling you to battle me. But I thought, but it was just so fucking unlucky that he went second, so I'll never be able to flip it. But the more I think about it, I honestly think I would have chucked away so much of my third. I really would have threw so much of my third away and just freestyled and been like, you know what I mean, make a better fucking point, bro. Like, you're just sounding mad jelly right now.
But not your Linkin Park scheme, please. Like, you got to keep that in. That would have
Do you know, to be like, I don't know, like I, to be quite honest about it, I probably wouldn't have fucking cut anything out. I probably would have just thrown loads in. I'm trying to be like respectful, but I probably would have just thrown a shitload of freestyles at the start and then gone into my verse. And you know, and if I got cut off, I would have got cut off. But I reckon with the way people were showing love to that battle, they probably would have let the whole thing rock. Yeah. So I probably would have done like 8 bars of freestyle, and it will always piss me off when I think about the battle. Do you know what I mean? But no, it's cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's decent.
And that you know, that marks your last battle. That was uploaded March 17th, 2015. So, you know, we're like 18 months or so since. I mean, obviously we're coming to the end of 2016. 2017, is there going to be a new battle?
Yeah, realistically there probably will be. I can't say but I reckon it's probably time. Like, I would like to think there would be.
I think it's good though. I mean, obviously we see you on camera all the time doing all the events and stuff, but it's good just looking at your verse tracker now. It's not like you haven't been battling. Like, you know, there's been 1 or 2 battles a year. Like, you're still around. It's the great thing.
Yeah. No, I would definitely take something if it's the right opponent and the right event. Because you know, Blackout was the right event, bro. Like, and it made sense to be a part of it. You know, you want to have your name attached to something that Drake is funding and Drake is doing that. Of course you do, bro. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there hasn't been anything. Okay, obviously I took the World Don battle, and you know, it's a shame I didn't go down or whatever. But you know, there was like same with that. There was a reason that I took that battle, and I suppose that there since hasn't really been an event I feel like I'm needed at. But once there's a good opponent, you know, there's obviously the money's part of it as well. There needs to be a fairly I'm not talking fucking 10 grand, but you know, I need to be paid what I think I'm owed. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always possible to get that amount. And from Blackout 5, I told him, you know, I said I'm not really willing to battle for any less than this amount because I think my name is worth that. And we agreed on that price, and that was cool. And then we agreed on the same price for World Dom. And like I said, I didn't get paid, so I didn't go, and that's fine. But it would need to be at least the same amount again, but maybe more, because of course, as an artist, you want to advance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to keep advancing your name, and I consider myself someone who probably does get better every battle. So you know, it's just about that. If I can get an offer in 2017 that makes sense, like, fuck it, I'm always down to go, man. I'm never gonna be one of them guys that just randomly said he's done with it for no reason. Like, I'm gonna keep it going, man.
No, good. I'm happy to hear that, man. Because Jesus Christ, like the 24/7 battle, the John battle, the writing's there, and I think it's so good because you are on the sidelines constantly watching all these things, and maybe even subconsciously just digesting the flaws and things to point out. And it's magic. So we'll end with, as we always do, a few quick fire questions. And I realise this first question might be very difficult for you, but anything that comes off the top of your head, do you have a favourite Don't Flop battle?
A favourite Don't Flop battle? Do you know what? Nah, probably not.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
I doubt I do. Really,
I was hoping you were going to whip out like a really obscure one that no one's heard. You were like, "Oh, this pseudonym battle," and I was like, you know, but maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, probably not. To be honest, I think that there's some that I revisit and watch more than others, maybe. But I don't think we've got like 1,500 or something.
Yeah, no, especially someone in your position. Yeah. So, do you have a King of the Dot favourite?
Let's think.
Or just one that you enjoy, or.
I mean, I don't honestly, man. It sounds like an excuse, but I don't get time to watch too much. I mean,
of course.
I honestly, the weird thing is, I actually watch more URL than anything.
Right. So URL. I mean, are there any recent URL people that you're really digging? Let's say that.
I think Ty Law's doing quite well.
I love Ty Law, man.
Yeah, I think he lets himself down with his delivery sometimes, but I think
right.
I think he smashed the one round in QP. I think him and Cicero, he had some pretty interesting bars. And every Ty Law battle he has a couple word plays that I'm like, that's really clever. I like that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, in his tryout battle when he's like, we beaten them easy. It's like Chico and Beasley. We smack white boys. Like, and it's one of them sleeper bars where everyone's like, ooh, like,
that battle with Snow, Jesus.
Do you know what? Let me just have a look. Let me just go on fucking Clarity recently, see who I'm feeling. Because there's just too many fucking battles to remember, to be honest. There's just like, do you know what I mean? There's just way too many battles here and there, and fucking obviously Big K is killing it at the moment. Like, he's just like everyone's favorite battler right now. Like,
but his attitude stinks, doesn't it?
Yeah, but realistically, if you can spit good bars, no one cares. But I mean, I agree. He maybe could have a better.
Just tone it down a little bit, like, you know.
But if you're always going to keep getting booked and you got a bad attitude, then you're never going to learn. Honestly, and that goes for a lot of people. If people are constantly going to keep getting booked, bro, like, they won't change their attitude because they think, well, I can be a dickhead and I'll still get booked. You know what I mean? And I'm not even talking about battle rap. I'm just saying, like, that's how shit works. Like. I'll tell you what, on Don't Flop, thinking about it, I really, really enjoy Tony and Shotty, because I think it lived up to the hype.
It really did.
Yeah, that to me meant a lot, that it wasn't a letdown. And everybody was so fucking in awe of it, because it was just like two guys, such different styles of battling, both packed with fucking punchlines. So yeah, that would definitely be one of my top Don't Flop ones.
Good choice, man.
Do you know what? Okay, here's one actually. Maybe not battle as a whole, but one of my favourite performances is Goods against Roan last year.
Yes, the American Morning Goods line was crazy. Yeah. I just personally, man, something a lot of people might not know, like Goods has actually always been like my top 5. Like, I know he doesn't really battle that much, but he's personally, to me, like, Goods just encompasses what a battle rapper is, and that to me is just like somebody who can be lyrical, but when they need to rely on other things can do that. And I think Goods is such a good example of that. Like, if you watch him versus Roan, to me that is a masterclass in battle rap, because he's just so perfected this look of like, I don't give a fuck about it. And the way he keeps, obviously as a promoter, it's so annoying when people come on the league and are like, I don't fucking care about this. But it's something about the way he did it. It was just hilarious, the way he just keeps repeating himself. Like, I don't give a fuck about this battle. Like, that's the same with him versus Hollow. Like, I don't think he was as lyrical as Hollow, but I think he swagged on him like a motherfucker. Like, And as far as URL, to be honest, do you know what? With URL, I would say they recently, on the whole, have put out some pretty fucking good battles recently. Seriously, yeah.
I just watched John Big T the other day. Enjoyed that quite a lot. Had some nice wordplay in it. Really looking forward to seeing this Mike P versus Daylight battle.
Oh my god, yeah, so excited for that.
Do you know what? Actually, again, not the whole battle, but on Shotgun Suge's side, I love Shotgun Suge versus the Saga. It's actually my favorite performance of last year. Probably tied with Goods versus Rowan, and I think I didn't really like the Saga that much in that battle, but personally, to me, again, it's just like going down the concept of it's not just about bars you write. Like, I think Shotgun Suge is possibly the best example of that he against the Saga, he's not spitting really clever bars. He's just spitting like some bars about him being religious, some bars are just literally random things about, I'm gonna do this wrestling move on you. But when you're a fat, really tall, quite scary looking black geezer, like you can just get away with saying that shit. And
was actually there on the day, because it was the day before our Philly event, so we actually went to the Rookie vs Vets, and it was incredible. Like in the building, like, yo, don't get me wrong, like Saga was getting shown mad love, but Suge, sorry, got so much more love, because he was people come to see Suge to see that basic disrespectful approach, and I think every time I've said this on camera, there's always like comments and shit of being like, wow, what the fuck is it talking about? That was a whack battle. And I'm just like, nah, bro, like that was, to me, like, I watch more URL than KOTD and the other leagues, even though I don't really want to rap in the same way as them. I just personally fucking love it. Like, I don't want to rap like Ty Law, I don't want to rap like Cicero. I just personally, like, I get more enjoyment out of watching these battles, so I watch him. And like Shotgun Suge, like, I'm a huge fan of his. Off that Saga battle alone, like, I'm a massive fan. And that's actually what's made me start chatting to him about, you know, we should book you versus him, blah, 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 blah.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, he battled Tech 9, right, on DF USA as well. So he's kind of been around the roster and stuff. So final two questions, a little bit easier, maybe a little bit harder. The first one is your favorite band or artist. You can't say Blink-182 or Sum 41, who are in no way hip hop related.
Rage Against the Machine.
Nice. I mean, there's kind of Zach De La Rocha's kind of rapping, but
yeah,
I'll give you that.
They're not a rap group. They're like a metal kind of rock, kind of high. I don't even know what you call them. Really, I don't really know. I just Rage Against the Machine. I've always liked them a lot.
Battle of Los Angeles. Yeah,
love. Just in general, man. Just all their albums. I'm just a fan.
Oh, their first album sounds like the sound of it. Just the instruments sounds so fucking good. And then finally, your favorite film? Do you have a favorite film?
I like Ghost Dog. Have you seen? Like, you're pretty shit, but
Forrest Whitaker.
I'm a fan of Ghost, but I again, see, that's always the answer I give, but I don't think I could really pick a favorite, but I've just got fond memories of Ghost Dog, man. But I mean, Friday, Menace to Society.
You sound like a John verse.
Yeah, like mad, like
Boys in the Hood,
fucked up films that Kruger's shown me, like some real like depressing like art house films and shit.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, but definitely, probably Ghost Dog.
Good choice, man. So
very decent film, man. Very like
Jim Jarmusch, crazy good film. So thank you, man. Thank you for being on the show.
It's been a pleasure, bro.
It has. It's been we've gone long.
Also, I was gonna say it's also taken up about 2 months out my calendar.
No, it's all good, man. So obviously, I mean, most people know from the YouTube, but Twitter is how to get you on Twitter, all that good stuff.
At Twitter, TWITTEURGH.
Still one of the most genius handles out there, man. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'll always be slightly proud of it in the back of my mind.
It's really good because when some people make the handles, they don't realise that this is kind of what they're set with, and you just kind of nailed the pun game.
I'm fairly happy with mine. I probably can't think of a better one, so I'll probably leave it. But at Twitter at EURGH on Instagram. That's just my two main ones. If anyone wants to get in touch with me regarding anything at all, it's just rowan@don'tflop.com is my personal email address, and I'll get back to you. So obviously subscribe to the show. Please keep sharing these shows and getting in touch with the show and just supporting the UK battle rap culture, man. Like, there's not too many of us about, so we got to support each other.
No, exactly, man. And seriously, it's been a treat, obviously, to have the guy who founded Don't Flop. It's been crazy, man. And I just, like we said, we'll probably do another episode maybe in a year or so where we just talk about Don't Flop more.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I think that'd be really interesting as well, because obviously this has been more of just you as a battler. But cheers, man, and cheers everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.
Listen, yo, they ain't fucking with me firstly. Viewpoint 16, they chucked me in it early, but there's still something that concerns me. They seriously all thought that it's unlucky for the 13th. A non-fiction, personified novel of John Grisham. Not a lot different to a Bond villain. I've always got bitten. The top man who got tagged, but it still ain't stopping. I'm shoplifting. Hand me the mic, I'm a one-touch killer. Smoke it and pass it along. I'm a puff giver, sticking up one finger like fuck Judge Rinder. I'll make 20 grand off one event much quicker. Chilling with Caprice, listening to squeaks. Ain't a Google Doc, but you knew I got bitches in my sheets. And when admitting your defeat, write that on a white flag, or else I still consider consider it a beef. Bobby Rex and Shocks, they act as a tag team. Pick the same beat, handed it badly. Who's next? Oh yeah, Ambi the athlete. Looking like he's driving his van to the canteen. Frankie's a fat geek, Danny's just mad keen. Your two's relationship, that should attract heat. Heretic, you ain't no blacker than hand cream. Looking like some kind of African man beast. I'm feeling like I might diss Callum and backseat. If you ever rap again, I'ma ban you, it's that peak. Fuck Eric Farrell, he battles for whack leagues. Bagnall the cameraman, got jacked from his backseat. Tony and Josiah sound like my dad on a rap beat. Only time that you should rap is to bandage your bad knees. Rap to the spat crap that he had from a track free. Best thing about his verse is the fact that he tagged